You're listening to Well, I Laughed, Part 1 of Vigilante Vengeance, wrapped up.
I just forget how exhausting it is to actually be vulnerable. Like how tiring it is to actually be in the game.
I want you to know I cut in right there.
Good, that's fine. That actually is fine. I don't mind sharing this part. But it's like, I don't know. I think I had like been, for a variety of different reasons, like pretty distanced from this part of my world. And
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I'm not right now. And I actually hate it so much. There are
Yeah.
a few things that actually shake my confidence a little bit. And this is one of them.
No, I absolutely feel you. Yeah, 10 out of 10. But
Thanks.
I don't really have anything to add to that.
I'm going to go ahead and pivot slightly.
Okay.
Kind of on this topic, though. But watch this collection of sentences I'm about to say. So, friends, something that I feel like I actually have had the chance to work on in this, my 31st year of life, is accepting help when people who love and care about me offer help.
Yeah.
I'm now only talking about work. Private life, I'm the most hyper-independent person you've ever met. But at work, when someone's like, hey, let me help you plan this massive 1,000+ person tournament, I now say, okay. And it's actually so good. Oh my God, it's so good. So friends of the podcast for a long time know that every year we host a speech tournament. I used to host 2. Now we're down to 1. It's going to be massive. But turns out the like things that actually caused me stress are no longer my sole responsibility. Like, what are the adults going to eat? And like, where are these judges going to come from?
I've offered to help.
No, I know. And the reason why I haven't taken you guys up on it this year is because there's so many people who have offered to help who also, it's like closer to their job. Right, exactly. And so today, I sent my 3 captains through the building to like check the rooms that we have on the list, see if there's any more rooms, because more rooms means we can allow more competitors, which raises more money for us. And then I went to one of my co-teachers and assistant coaches, and we were talking, and she's gorgeous and interesting and fantastic. And the captains come back and they're giving the update and stuff, and we're just chatting in general. And one person was like, "What do you mean you never experience anxiety, Mr. Thomas?" And I go, "Yeah, I actually don't really know what more I can like provide on that. I just don't." And then my assistant coach goes, "Yeah, it's actually like so annoying. He's like one of the last like regular people you're going to meet in this building."
I second that, actually. Like, deeply second that. Because as neuro, like, typical as Casey is, his one, like, neurodivergent thing is, like, anxiety and a bit of, like, OCPD. But, like, it mostly manifests as, like, social anxiety. And so... what was it? Oh, when we were at Trax, there was a moment when we were all outside. Casey and I dressed up as Hades and Eurydice from Orpheus and Eurydice from Hadestown. And I ordered a bunch of like fake carnations because there's like it's a huge thing with Orpheus's character. He like can make spring come, and he has these like little fake red flowers. And so I brought like the rest of them that we didn't need for the costumes. And I was like, I'm just going to give these to whoever like recognizes the costume because I think that's funny. And so I kept them like in my pocket. And this girl recognized Casey first. And like I ended up... what's happening here? I ended up talking to her a little bit later. But she had like a walker. I think she probably had like some kind of autoimmune disease or something like that. Okay. But she was like wearing a onesie for like maybe Eeyore, like that kind of like coloring.
Oh, cool.
And so she stopped Casey, and I was watching Casey and like making sure he was good because sometimes he gets stuck in conversations that he doesn't want to be in. So I was like giving him like a thumbs up and like an eyebrow raise, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm totally fine." But so he
really does get stuck in conversations sometimes. He
really does.
And the tough thing is, all of us, the rest of the people who love him, at times take advantage of that because it's like, I don't want to be in that conversation.
Yeah.
So
Casey will be in the conversation, yeah. And so, yeah, and then Brian was also like, "Oh, I've also been checking on him too," and I'm like, "That's really sweet, Brian. I am his wife, though." So like,
only 2 people can check on him: his wife and his
Brian.
wife's Continue.
Yeah. But so she gave him she was practicing doing like balloon art, basically. And so she gave him a balloon art rose. And so he came back and like had this little balloon art rose. It was really sweet. And so I was like, "Casey, do you want to go back and give her a rose?" And he was like, "I mean, I'm a little anxious." So he didn't, but I ended up seeing her later and like gave one to her.
God, so many things I want to say to that.
Yeah.
First, absolutely love gay Halloween.
Yeah.
if you follow the Instagram, you know this. I went as Ongo Gablogian, Danny DeVito's character from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he pretends to be a fake art collector. And all of my near, dear, sweet, sweet heterosexual friends vaguely knew of this character because I have a literal picture of it in my house, and like I've talked about it a couple times.
I've seen the scene. I've just never watched like It's Always Sunny like all the way through.
But all my like dear sweet heterosexual friends are like, yeah, Grant, and like the wigs looks great on you. It's like, yeah, it's fun.
The wig did look.
It does.
Great
It did. I'm like behind a wig stand to like properly take care of it. We get to this gay bar, and like people are like rushing me to be like, oh my god, are you Ongo Gablogian?
It was
like,
wild.
Yes. There's a whole video of me walking up to Maya, and I just go, gay people get me. But on the topic of Casey's anxiety, we had a really fun week. It actually was like a great weekend. It started off Friday with us going to go see the high school play at the school that I work at.
Oh my God.
And that was fun. And of course, when I say we, it's me and it's Maya and it's Casey and it's Jacob and it's Lydia and it's our friend Sophie. Right. And so it's a whole little crew. We get like dinner and drinks beforehand, and then we go to the school and we watch it, and we just have a great time. And we're leaving the school at like, I don't know, 9:30, right?
Yeah.
And of course, I know a bunch of students there. Some of them are on my speech and debate team or otherwise, you know, connected with the program in some way. So I'm like, hi, oh my God, you're in the Claire Wheel fan, right? Like we're having like this whole moment. And like Casey is like sweating in the elegant lobby of the school that I work at now. And as he walks out, Maya, do you want to tell him what Casey says?
He leans into me as we're leaving and he says, I've sent rockets to the moon, and I still can't talk to a teenager.
And it's just so funny because not only was I not pressed by that, but I was really like in my element. I was like, that's right. I'm interesting, cool. Look at my sweet, gorgeous friends who I am for the most part taller than. And
okay.
Meanwhile, Casey's like, I gotta get out of here.
This is too much like my past.
Like school isn't even in session. Most of the building is like dark at this point. They've turned off all the lights. Like it's barely a school, in my opinion.
One of my favorite things while he was watching Sweeney Todd was like he like I think at intermission, he was just like, I forgot that they can curse here, because he went through to like a religious high school and he was
and just the South.
But he was like about the second shit. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh right, they gotta do the real version, the New York City version. New York City.
Also, as if his school would have ever put on Sweeney Todd, a show, as Lydia found out halfway through, is about cannibalism.
But also, Jacob also found out it was about cannibalism, just a little bit quieter than Lydia's discovery.
I think Casey also thought he had seen most of it or something, and all three of them walk out and they're like, so we've never seen
Turns
this.
out I've actually never seen this play before.
It was just me like humming along to the music, like rocking in my chair.
There's that scene early on when Todd's wife, trigger warning plus 15 for mentions of assault. Trigger warning 15 minutes. 15 seconds. Attends that party and gets assaulted, right? But the way they staged it was so chaotic that as I was watching it, like I really did like the play, but there was that moment where I was like, I don't know if that was as narrative as it needed to be. And sure enough, like the next day, Lydia and I are getting ice cream because it's like of course, you know, is who we are. And like having to clarify that scene for her. And I tell her at the time, I was like, yeah, when I was watching it, I was like, I'm gonna have to answer some questions about this.
It wasn't very clear.
No, that seems
it was only clear by like a single line, which is already hard to understand in their like fake, not fake accents.
In a good way, they don't dwell on that scene a lot.
Yeah.
In a narrative way,
but then when you get to the end and the big reveal at the end, you're like.
Right, as we try not to spoil this musical for the listeners.
I know that's been available for public consumption for
a long time.
long time.
But no, 100%. It's even like in the next scene, if someone could be like, oh man, can you believe blankety blank happened?
Yeah.
Right, like that would have been nice, but whatever. And if you're listening in your car right now, being like, man, what a fun group. Like, I wish I had a group of people to go to the theater with. I quiz Lydia every intermission we are at a play with.
Much to her chagrin, I might add.
She actually, like, you can kind of tell she comes
was like,
out
do this
ready.
later.
And I go, no. And she goes, all right. And she has like hands behind her back and she's like leaned in and you could like see her checking her notes. After we watched the Color Purple, this cannot be a surprise to you. Like, you need to just know it. At intermission, I was like, I mean, could have seen that lesbian kiss a mile away. And Lydia was like, I was stunned. And I was like, what?
It was like when we went to the Lehman Brothers. And it was
Oh my God, yes. That was such a good play.
Those gay men really had lots of chemistry. Oh, wait, they're not gay. One of them's just a man playing a woman.
A convincing job, though.
So, oh my God, yeah.
So a really wonderful weekend. And it's Halloween here soon.
Oh, and at Trax, I met a listener named Mackenzie who was dressed up. I'm so sorry, Mackenzie, if you're listening. She actually was selected for the like costume contest.
Nice.
As our Uber was arriving. And so I did this like silly little mom thing right as she was about to go on. And I was like, I'm going to videotape our listener like go on for this costume contest. And then right as she's like I think she was maybe one or two people back, her and her friends. Casey came and got me and was like, our lift is here.
Casey's like, I am ready to go home.
Yeah, I was like, okay, fine. But anyway, I don't know who won the costume contest. I hope you did, obviously. But she was dressed as a goofy goober from...
Absolutely.
Yeah, SpongeBob. It was actually
so great.
Phenomenal costume.
Mackenzie, that's very cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how big the cash prize was.
Oh, like $2,000?
Yeah, for winning the costume contest until... Again, Lydia was driving me to go get ice cream on Sunday, and we were going to a fundraiser for my school, which is why I didn't invite like everybody. Lydia chaperoned a trip for one of the students.
I mean, I would have loved to be included, but that's fine. I'm not mad. I'm a little disappointed.
I didn't bring you to the East Coast trip, which is why the student knows
and that's really why I'm mad.
Are you trying to join our coaching staff?
A little bit.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it. There is zero stipend involved. You should know that up front.
If I can go on trips and not have to pay for my own airfare, that is a trip for me.
Okay, so sorry, we're back. Lydia told me how much the costume contest prize was.
Yeah.
And I was, for like 10 seconds, furious.
The issue with that is that it's not about yes, the costume needs to be good, but your performance on stage has to be better.
I'm Ongo Goblogian. I was meant to be
there
on
was
that
a man dressed as a one-night stand. He was dressed as a nightstand. He had lube glued to a table secured to his shoulders.
Tell me you don't believe in me.
I don't believe in you. I also saw two.
No, that's actually a really good costume.
Very sexy. They're like the guards at the Buckingham Palace.
Yes.
Two of those with the full fucking full helmet thing going on. No shirt, barely any pants.
I kind of love gay Halloween.
Oh, I love gay Halloween.
Gay Halloween is like everywhere that's superfluous, lots of clothing, lots of layers.
Yeah.
Everywhere that you would otherwise want to have covered up at a pool needs to be breathing
Needs to be
air.
out, which is so unfortunate.
Listen, if your costume can't let smoke machine glitter glisten off your skin, you didn't do it right.
You did it wrong, yeah, probably.
That's why I make sure my wrists are always exposed when I'm Mongo. Roll up my sleeves.
Yeah.
We had a great time. So if you guys are, not to keep talking about the election, but if you guys are like, why are these two so
also,
happy
the election
right now?
Already happened for them.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
if you're like,
we're happy right now because the election hasn't happened.
We have no idea. We're very nervous, but we're also a little wine drunk, and we don't know what's about to happen.
Please don't tell us.
Right. Or do? I don't know.
I don't know how you would communicate that to us.
Let's wait 10 seconds to see if anyone has a time machine and they come back and tell us.
Okay.
10 seconds is actually a really long time. They're not here.
They would have done it by now.
We don't know what the mood of the country is in recording this, which is, again, why we're drinking wine.
Yep.
I think I want to give you updates, but you were there for literally almost every second of my
I know.
I
have
weekend.
an update, and you can think if you have other ones. It's not like a life update. It's a true crime update.
Even more excited. I'll think about it, but yeah, I'll ruminate.
For my true crime girlies, the Menendez brothers, who have been in jail for forever, have, I think an appeal is being filed, and the judge very recently just accepted it, and there's a really good chance that they'll both be home for Halloween, or sorry, not Halloween, Jesus, for Thanksgiving this year, which is really exciting. If you don't know...
Do we want them to get out? Okay, I hadn't followed even the details of it.
They are two brothers, TLDR, like super Spark Notes version. They killed their parents.
Right.
It's like super obvious that they killed their parents. I think they both... There was a letter written from one brother to another while they were awaiting trial that was essentially a confession.
Okay.
So the trial was never about did they do it. The trial was about like why they did it and if they should get like... Oh, I can't remember what the differentiation between the charges was, but one was like first degree manslaughter, but the other one wasn't actually a manslaughter charge. It was like something unrelated. It was like under the pretense of abuse. Both brothers were, especially the younger one, like horrifically abused by their father growing up. And the older brother was essentially at some point when he found out that it was still going on, like we're over it. We're done.
Okay.
And so they truly believed in that moment because of various threats from family and stuff that if they did not act, they would be killed by their father.
So one of the reasons why I hadn't seen it was I thought it was just like a fascination with two guys who definitely did it.
They definitely did.
But then but zero qualms. Like it was just kind of like in cold blood kind of moment.
It was absolutely not in cold blood.
Right.
Like the situation.
So now I might actually watch it.
You should. It's
because
really
I have
fascinating.
A really weird issue with just like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. I never watched that. But like this kind of stuff, I'm like, oh, maybe. And also one of the actors, if you want to know where I work, it's not going to take that much research, but I'm not going to hand it to you on a platter. One of the actors who plays the Menendez brothers won a daytime Emmy and is a graduate of the school that I teach at.
That's
and
really cool.
His teacher / coach, because he was in the speech and debate team, is like a good friend and mentor and like a person I hang out with all the time. And got accepted in the Emmy speech.
Oh, cool.
Like got thanked like, in the
Emmy speech.
actor's Emmy speech.
Before you watch the like live action version of it, I would just trace where the money's going. If like the Menendez family is receiving anything, because that's the big thing with Jeffrey Dahmer,
right?
Was that the victims were not seeing any of the royalties or anything like
right.
that. That's why I usually only watch docuseries. Although I did have to watch Jeffrey Dahmer because Evan Peters.
Well, we also just need to talk for a second about how just incredibly attractive the two actors in the Menendez trial, like.
And they're really
Cooper Koch.
I'm not sure, but
he's caught my attention.
Both of the actual Menendez brothers are like a lot significantly older now, obviously, but they're still like they've got it going. And one of them took up painting.
I was talking about the actors.
I know, but the actual Menendez brothers, like they're still like keeping it together. One of them took up painting and like sent out paintings like to his family members from prison. It's very cute.
Okay, well, listen, I would love for some rehabilitation to actually happen in those centers. So that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
The combination of us vaguely talking about actors on Netflix and drinking wine makes me feel like we have fully achieved Midwest mom core, which is really great because you and I share a love of dips too.
Oh, yeah. I think about that dip that you made us. I dream of her.
That's just the tip of the iceberg, babes.
The tip. Nice.
The tip of the Triscuit. And now that sounds British.
Are you ready for me?
I am.
Okay.
I'm actually, especially after the text
sure.
message I got, I'm like eager.
Okay.
I wanted to give you the space to tell the story if you want, but I was trying to verbally, non-verbally signal to you that I could continue to chat or I could listen.
I don't think I have anything. I need to do a better job. This past week I didn't do a good job of writing shit down. All right. So Grant knows a piece of this topic because he was at his barber last week. Or a couple weeks ago, and if in the first half of the QAnon cults episode, you notice there's like a weird cut where at the end, or like it seems like there should be a cut, and then suddenly I just say hello, and then you say hello, and I like didn't put in an intro music because it fit well enough.
Right.
Anyway, in that space that I cut, we were talking about this because Grant's stylist was talking to him about conspiracy theories, and one of them I had to be like, okay, what do you actually know? Because I need you to learn nothing.
And that means I had to recall in my own brain the details that, I mean, you guys know my stance on like conspiracy theories. I blocked out as they were being told to me.
Yeah.
So it was like A and then B and then maybe there was something with C, and like that is it, and I don't believe any of it. You should know.
So the nice thing about the way that this story panned out is that ended up being a relatively small portion of this.
Good.
I was worried that it would become a bigger portion because then this whole episode would need a giant trigger warning.
Here's how much I have blocked that out.
Yeah.
I forgot that I knew this topic was vaguely related to that. I forgot that so much that there was a minute where I was really concerned you and I were going to do the same topic. And then you were like, it happened within blankety blank. And I was like, oh, cool. And that still didn't trigger the memory that we had talked about this. I know nothing.
Perfect. Amazing. Okay. So we're going to start my little intro. I don't have a question for you. Well, I might, maybe. We'll see.
What is a cult?
Tell me, Grant. What is a cult? We're going to start in 1984.
Okay.
In something called the Roxanne Wars.
George Orwell has a lot of thoughts on that. But starting in the what wars?
Roxanne Wars.
Like Roxanne, like from the musical Moulin Rouge, which we should watch together sometime soon.
Maddie just watched it in New York City.
like live on the stage.
Yes. Like 2 weeks after Aaron Tevitt left.
She's so unbelievably cool in everything that she does. And I think that's how I know I have created a good friend group, because every single time you guys do something, I'm like, that's so cool and interesting. So cool. I was talking about the Ewan McGregor version, which was the first musical I watched on Netflix.
I remember.
Back when they would bring in full-on CDs.
Oh, that's
my little gay education that first year. I'm not even like renting Brokeback Mountain. I'm like, there's literally so much musical theater I have to get caught up on.
You're catching up on the
before
culture.
I do anything. Yeah, 100%. I'm like, I need to be able to speak this language at parties, right?
Yeah.
Like I will watch like, you know, Heath Ledger be a little queer later. I have homework right now.
Okay, well, you and I are both getting an education in something that I'm pretty sure neither of us know a lot about today. The Roxanne
really
Wars
exciting.
of 1984. There is a 14-year-old. We're in New York City, by the way.
Okay.
14-year-old Lolita Shanté Goodwin becomes the first female rap star in the world. She becomes huge in the New York hip hop scene. At this point, she's only been rapping for 1 year, and she records what would make her an overnight sensation, a song called Roxanne's Revenge. This is recorded under, she takes up the moniker Roxanne Shanté from her middle name.
Okay.
And this was produced by Marley Marl, DJ Mr. Mike, and the founder of the label that produces it, Tyrone Williams.
I need you to know, I'm having a small panic attack on my side because as a person who instructs speech and debate, I have heard so many freshman boys give me informatives on the history of rap music.
Oh, we're not talking about history today, babes.
Okay.
This is just one little piece.
But what this is telling me is I have retained almost
none of
nothing
it
from those
Oh wait, okay, perfect. Good. Keep it that way.
I'm like, I can see it in front of me, like the kids' visuals, posters, and it's like a record that we can like move. I can see it.
Yeah.
Can remember nothing.
I'm actually really fascinated by this. I am not, as you'll find out as we go through the episode, I don't listen to a ton of hip hop. Like I've listened to R&B growing up, but like I'm not huge in the hip hop world. So for those of you who are, I'm sorry.
You, the woman who sang.
Sorry,
chord,
you?
Sure, everyone knows, but you, the woman who sang every chord of Sweeney Todd while I sat next to her, like 48 hours ago.
Yeah.
You don't listen to a lot of hip hop.
Shut the hell up. Anyway, this trio that produces Roxanne's Revenge is known as the Juice Crew.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So prior,
I would buy organic blend juice from them.
From the Juice Crew?
Know. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have chia seeds in it, get it out of my mouth.
That's true. Oh, I thought you were gonna say if it has chia seeds in it, I don't want it.
No, I love chia seeds.
Thank you.
Until you drink too much, and believe me, your body will let you know when you have drank too much, and then you're like, I'm a plant. But until then, and it's like this one, not like where you work.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm having fun. You're gonna have to just kind of power through me right now. That's how much fun I'm having.
Prior to the release of Roxanne's Revenge, there was a different production trio, the Brooklyn-based group UTFO. They had just released a song called Roxanne. And this song was about a woman who would not give the man the time of day, but in a bad way.
Sure.
Like from the man's point of view.
Right. Oh, you think you're all that when
you
I'm
think
like
you're
right
all that,
here.
yeah. So in this song, it was calling Roxanne stuck up and a crab. It was calling her mom really hairy and her dad a fairy. So
Oh, interesting.
yes. So Roxanne's Revenge, once it was published, outshined Roxanne quickly and sold 250,000 copies in New York alone.
In New York City.
So Roxanne's Revenge actually takes the original beat from the instrumental version of Roxanne.
That's such a hater move.
I know.
I love that.
I know. And so Roxanne's Revenge, once it reached a certain level of fame, UTFO claimed copyright on the instrumental, so they negotiated that Roxanne's Revenge would be re-released in early 1985 with a new beat underneath it.
It's giving SNL's version of Espresso.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the story goes that Lolita Goodwin, Roxanne, or who would be known as Roxanne, Lolita Goodwin, 14, again, was walking outside of a New York housing project when she overheard the guys of the Juice Crew talking about how UTFO canceled an appearance on a show that they had promoted. And so she offers to take up the the moniker Roxanne Shanté and helped them record a hip hop record to get back at them. And the legend goes, I don't know how true it is, that they recorded it in one take, which in this point in the 80s, like, very well could be the case.
Right.
And if you listen, I listened to the music video today. It's actually like, yeah, I could see how this was one take.
There's like a couple things that they might have polished out on a second.
You
or
can
third
also
take.
kind of see her like kind of reading lyrics, maybe behind a camera at a few points.
Sure.
But she is really good. And
she's 14.
She's 14. You
and
can
she's like,
definitely tell.
You're on a warpath for revenge. Before you dig 2 graves, get me in on this.
Yes, exactly. And so after the release of Roxanne's Revenge,
young people really can do anything.
They really can.
You know, they can't raise their hand or listen to others, but they can help you with your revenge plot. That's for all you teachers out there. I see you. Thanksgiving's right around the corner, babes. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of wine tonight.
I know.
I want you to know
I'm excited for this.
I'm not as much as I am.
So after Roxanne's Revenge is released by the Juice Crew, UTFO then releases a response track called The Real Roxanne. From here, a bunch of MCs got into it. A bunch of artists were like, okay, let's get into this too. And depending on like who you're listening to, anywhere from 30 to 100 answer records are released.
Oh, what?
In the 80s.
Wait, to Roxanne's Revenge?
Starting with Roxanne, then Roxanne's Revenge, and then The Real Roxanne, and then more and more answers come on.
Who? Drake had that beef with who?
We're not gonna talk about Drake, but you're really into what we're about to talk about today,
really?
babes.
No, you don't understand.
You're gonna fucking love this episode. I'm so excited for you.
What's so funny to me already is how much information has clearly been around me about this topic and how truly none of it has been retained by me. Because our first assignment in debate class is you have to like explain 2 sides of an issue. So again, I heard dozens of speeches about the feud between Drake and I want to say Lamar Jackson, but I think that's actually a quarterback for Louisville.
I'm actually pretty sure every rapper has had a feud with every other rapper.
So I'm trying to like make a reference, and I'm like, I can't even seal the deal on something I heard 2 months ago.
Good.
Okay, good.
Okay. Anywhere from 30 to 100 answer records are released. Some of the most notable, according to Wikipedia. Sparky's Return, parentheses, Roxanne You're Through, by Sparky D.
And we love parentheses.
Yes. Roxanne's Doctor, The Real Man, by Dr. Fresh with 2 H's. Do the Roxanne, by Dr. Rox & Co. The Parents of Roxanne, by Gigolo Tony and Lacey Lace.
Sorry, at this stage, they're like, what perspective hasn't been told yet?
Literally.
The across the street neighbor of Roxanne approving, in parentheses, featuring Fergie.
Yes. Do the Roxanne, The Parents of Roxanne. I'm Lil Roxanne by Tanganyika.
Wait, I'm Lil Roxanne wasn't done by Roxanne?
No.
She got to trademark her name.
Yo, My Little Sister, parentheses, Roxanne's Brothers, by Crush Groove. Rappin' Roxy.
As opposed to Little Sisters.
Yeah. Rappin' Roxy, Roxanne's Sister by DW and the Party Crew, featuring Roxy. Ice Roxanne by Little Ice. Roxanne's a Man, parentheses, The Untold Story, Final Chapter by Ralph Roll.
When you were a child, did you think Shorty was the same woman in all of this? Okay, so that was
Shoddy.
Shoddy, thank you. Yes. Like a melody in my head.
Yes.
No. You would have loved the prom/club scene of 2011 to 2014.
Far too young at that, but I do have a very distinct memory of learning all the lyrics.
I danced
and Low, which came out or which I found around the same time.
I danced in a darkened high school cafeteria to Flo Rida's "Spin My Head Right Round." We touched God those nights and didn't know it.
Those songs are iconic, man. Okay, so meanwhile, Lolita, like Roxanne Shanté Goodwin, continued the back and forth with UTFO, releasing a song called Bite This, which accused UTFO of copying her style for their first response,
nice.
The Real Roxanne. UTFO then responded with Roxanne Part 2, calling her a crab, calling Roxanne an ape and a crab. Like the full name of the song, Roxanne Part 2, calling her a crab.
Wait, that's just in the title.
That's the full name.
What's in the body of the email, babes? That's the subject line?
I was too scared to look it up. After I looked up enough of the lyrics to some of the 90s rap songs and 2000s, I was like, I don't think I can like physically see these lyrics and be okay afterwards. So Roxanne Shanté then releases the final response between the two originators of the Roxanne
so
War.
She gets the last word.
Yeah, called Queen of Rocks. Shanté rocks on.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
How Roxanne got her rocks back.
Literally. And then
Rock into the 80s with Roxanne, right?
Yeah. The last
If the Roxannes are rockin', don't come a rockin' with Roxanne. I'm stopping. That was good. I really want to end it on that note. I'm just having such a good time.
No, it was good. The last song of the Roxanne Wars that was not released by the two originators was called The Last Word, No More Roxanne, parentheses, please, by the East Coast crew.
Please tell me that's true. Please tell me the parentheses, please is true.
100%.
Shut up.
Yeah, please, by the East Coast crew.
What BFA major was in that studio being like, hear me out? It's like Charlie's XCX remixed the Brat album, and the remix album is called Brat, but it's completely different and yet still Brat by Charlie XCX.
Yep. It's art. That's art.
Is.
That's jazz.
I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean you're Brat remix, but completely different, but yet still Brats by Charlie XCX?
Yes. Okay. So the Roxanne Wars, has its own Wikipedia page.
Good.
It is considered the first known hip-hop feud and one of the most notable with the most answer records in history. From this point forward, and probably before, we don't really know, it's not recorded, feuding has played a powerful role in the world of hip-hop. Not just for the feud itself, promoting the listens to diss tracks from either side, but also for the reconciliation that can also benefit the artists involved and send a message of community and the significance of unity and mutual respect. The master of the art of the hip-hop feud today. Do you know who that is?
Drake? No. Kanye?
No.
Because Beyonce had the best music video album of all time.
I think this is more like probably biased towards the story I'm telling, but I think it's probably Drew.
Drew?
No.
Who? I don't know.
50 Cent.
Oh.
50 Cent.
A person I have almost never thought about ever in the last 15 years.
And you're going to think about him a lot from now on.
Okay, good. Thank you. Forbidden knowledge. No choice to hear it. Let's go ahead and lock in.
So the master of the hip-hop feuding today is none other than 50 Cent. Shaw Money XL, who is 50 Cent's former producer, praises him for these feuds as they help him sell records. Quote, 50 knows how to use certain energies to market himself, kind of anything that will bring news, attention, and mentions around him. So I say that to this day that he is a marketing genius. I've seen him do it time and time again, and I respect him, and hats off to him. It should also be noted, 50 Cent and Shaw Money don't really talk, I don't think.
Nice, okay.
So who is 50 Cent? We're not going to talk about the 50 Cent that you know. We're going to talk about where 50 Cent got 50 Cent from. We're going to talk about a man named Kelvin Darnell Martin.
Isn't that a unit of measurement for like heat?
Kelvin, yeah.
Wait, did I get that right?
Yeah.
Go me.
Kelvin.
Broken clock right twice a day. Well, listen, when I get it wrong, so many people are going to write and be like, Maya, it's so messed up that you would get science wrong.
I need to Google it now. I'm 99% sure it's the absolute unit of measure for temperature.
I don't know why, spiritually, I have just decided this is going to be a 4-hour episode.
Kelvin, SI unit of thermodynamic temperature. I'm right. Okay. So, Kelvin was born July 24th, 1964, and he spent most of his formative years in the South Bronx in New York City. When his mom and dad separated, Kelvin's mom pinned a note to her 8-year-old son, Kelvin's, shirt and sent him alone on a crosstown bus to his grandmother's house. So he was raised by his grandmother, Irene. They tried to get him on the straight and narrow, but, quote, their attempts were doomed from the start. Here's a quote from his aunt, Patricia. Quote, we tried everything to keep him out of trouble. We even sent him to the dance theater of Harlem.
What?
Apparently, despite the violent record...
Like the movies Step Up and Step Up 2 and Step Up Lemon Pepper Steppers?
Good.
Do you follow Hillary Starr on TikTok?
No.
So what I just said is just an insane collection of words.
I heard Step Up, and I do know what that's in reference
Great.
to.
Okay, continue.
Cool. So apparently, despite the violent record that we're about to discuss with Kelvin, Kelvin liked to prance around the house on his toes like a ballet dancer.
Yeah.
So according to Aunt Patricia, quote, we took him out We had to take him out of class, though. He complained that there were too many homosexuals.
Well, listen, who hasn't had that complaint before?
Me on Saturday.
Me when there's a single other gay person at the workplace.
Well, there's just too many of us.
I'm not special if there's two of us, and so there can only be one.
Good,
like a leopard in the wild.
Super healthy. Okay.
Now kiss.
So around 1980, the family moved to subsidized housing in Brooklyn in the Fort Greene district. Here he is introduced to Islam through the 5% Nation, and he adopts the name Shamik. Quote, this is a quote from someone in the article that I referenced. In the 80s, 5%ers were like the Blood and the Crips are now.
Oh.
However, he didn't really go to the mosque for enlightenment. He went to the mosque for other reasons. Quote, he would come to the mosque and want to rob somebody. Just let that settle in for a second.
What, was tired of stealing all those homosexuals' hearts?
No, he had to get taken out of that environment.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone loves a bad boy, though.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a bad boy.
I mean, yeah.
Don't leave him. Leave him. That's such a deep cut between the two of us.
That's good.
Sorry,
That's good.
continue.
The timeline on the time that he spent in jail is a bit fuzzy because jailhouse records were destroyed due to record retention rules.
What?
I don't know. It's the 80s.
Well, better get rid of all these pesky criminal records. Who needs these?
I think this article was written in the early 2000s, and this is about people that were in Rikers in like the, 80s? So I don't
10 years?
Sure.
We keep it for a decade?
2 years.
I've had friends go on
20
mission
years.
trips for longer. I mean, obviously not close friends.
Okay, so Kelvin does a stint at Rikers Island Juvenile Detention. Here he fell in with a roving band of teens who ran the jail. Jailmate, his name, there's a lot of alliteration here, and I'm trying to separate it so it doesn't sound like it's Jailmate James. It's Jailmate James, and his nickname, Jimmy Henchman Rosemond. Jailmate James Jimmy
Henchman Rosemond.
Yes. Quote, he has a quote
Me saying
in this article.
it during attendance. Jailmate James Jenny Henson Rossman. Thank you.
So, quote, we dubbed him the little bastard. Although he was small, everybody knew he could handle his business.
Not beating the homosexual allegations.
No. Rikers transformed Kelvin. Not into a reformed citizen, however, but into a gladiator of sorts.
Rikers does such a good job of reforming young men.
So he's known for his violence in the prison,
Okay,
and then outside of that. We don't have any, we'll have a big victim at the end of the episode, but towards the beginning it's...
Interesting. Wait. Oh, interesting. Okay, continue.
Yes. So when Kelvin was released, he joined a gang called the Supreme Team, and he quickly graduated from small-time crime to the big-time gang-type crime, you know? No one seems to know when, but Kelvin begins going by the name of 50 Cent. The origins could be one of about 3 options that I could find, at least. Also, this moniker that he adopted could have happened a lot earlier. It's super unclear as to when he starts going by this. It could have happened before he went to the detention center. One of the stories is that he earned the name from a dice game where he wagered 50 cents but walked away with $500.
Well, hey, I love them.
I know.
Especially, in the 80s, you could buy Rikers Island with that kind of money.
That's life-changing money right there. The other story is that it was just because he was a small guy. So 50 Cent was a representation. He was 5'3" and 120 pounds.
Half of a whole dollar? That's so mean.
Yeah, that's so mean.
The poker game's great. That's a lot better. But that means no one will ever play poker with you again.
Yes.
I think I've told you, my strategy is always what?
What's poker?
How do I
do
win
this?
Flush. Give me your money. Give me your money. And there'll be even been times too where I'm like, maybe I'm too easy to read. Let's be a little unsure on our face, even though we are definitely sweeping this hand. And so I'm hem and haw a little bit before I put in, and then I keep going. And I'm like, you fools. You're just assuming that my limp wrist can't handle the high stakes game of Texas
and now
Hold'em.
No one will play with you.
Now I'm going to hold you accountable for your stereotypes. Oh, look out.
Good.
It's the wine.
Yeah.
How are you liking that Chardonnay?
I'm liking it.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
liking it.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. So So he was a small guy. 50 Cent was a representation of that. He was 5'3", 120 pounds. According to Aunt Patricia, quote, he had a little man's complex. Aunt Patricia with the bangers. The other story is that he will rob you for anything, even if it's just 50 cents.
Oh.
Personally, I like that story the best.
Aunt Patricia? She's like, love dancing, not the gays. Short.
Yeah. Okay. So he would soon
You guys describing me.
You're not short.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know that's what you wanted.
No, I was kind of expecting a homophobia angle, but that's fine.
Okay. So after he was released, he joined the Supreme Team, as I mentioned previously. Soon after this, though, he would join his own group of young guns. Quote, they preyed on pizza delivery men, hapless storekeepers, and intoxicated club patrons. A woman named Cheryl Ray, who was friends with him, quote, not long after we first met, there was a girl with a Louis Vuitton bag, and I wanted a bag. I didn't have a designer bag. And Fitty was like, here's my gun. Go take it. I think that was the first time I ever had a gun in my hand, but everyone was so concerned with Fitty just being there that they didn't notice I had a gun or took her bag. That's when I realized, wow, this guy's got a lot of power.
And I have a bag.
And now she had a Louis Vuitton bag.
Do you know, listen, here's the thing. And this is the first lesson I teach my own students. Do not incriminate yourself for crimes you definitely committed, like armed robbery of a Louis Vuitton bag.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to her after this. I didn't do digging on that.
She got a bag. She got a quote in the New York Post, and then she was lost to history.
This was like a article I found from a web archive.
Nice.
Like it was literally not even published to the real internet anymore.
I know one thing to be true. If any of those records were kept at Rikers, they've been burned since then.
True. Kelvin, a.k.a. 50 Cent, was known for carrying 2 guns, a Colt 45 and a .357 Magnum. Both, of course, tucked into his waistband.
Naturally.
As you do. He would use parking meters for target practice. Same. I can respect that. He would share the spilled change with the children in the area. Which is like cute, but like weird and violent.
Sharing with it? Like you're like
he'll use the parking meters as target practice, and once he shoots one, the change falls out, and he'll just give it to the kids that are like nearby.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Kind of a Robin Hood, but with
sort of
gun violence.
With a lot of problems.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He would also entertain the kids with rodeo antics, like gun tricks, like twirling his pistols, and also shooting quarters tossed into the air by the children.
I have nothing to say.
Yep. Okay. There's a story.
This is Reagan's America, by the way, y'all. This is the 80s. This is Reagan's America. It's his fault.
There's a story that he caught famous rapper LL Cool J in a White Castle parking lot where he allegedly held the rapper at gunpoint to get his solid gold chain.
Oh.
Eventually.
So they have beef.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know.
Does LL Cool J come out with a new album? LL Cool J, Too Hot to Handle. I'm coming for you, 50 cents, the whole dollar.
We're not even on like rapper 50 Cent yet. So
isn't that who we're talking about right now?
Yeah, soon.
Oh, we're not even at that stage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
So right now, I'm sorry. We're on just him being a criminal. He hasn't yet become a musical artist. That's what you're saying?
I'm going to let you believe that for the next few paragraphs.
I'm going to listen for the next few paragraphs. No, I'm not. No,
eventually, Fitty turned to robbing liquor stores, common folk, pimps, etc. to following...
Is that a direct quote from an article?
No, I kind of
liquor stores, common folk, pimps, etc.
I didn't do like finding the rest of the
insane list.
You're welcome.
I'm out here doing like 1300 feudal wars between French aristocracy. And you're hitting me with pimp, etc.
Yeah. He's trying to find people with money so that he can rob them. His
MO
is robbing, right? So
can't get water out of a well that's dry.
He's robbing those people. And then he decides, well, the big money's really in drugs, but I don't want to sell drugs.
I've heard that.
So he starts finding and robbing drug dealers, not for their drugs, but for their cash.
He manages to monopolize the middleman of drug exchange. Yeah. What is he, the Portuguese for 300 years? That's such a good joke that our 8 straight dude listeners are really cackling at. And I'm sure there's a couple of like history female listeners too.
And that's really good because we need to keep them in.
Correct. But like the 5% of you who have reached out to me to be like, Grant, thank you. That's for you. Okay. Let's talk about the Portuguese in South Indian Ocean in the year 1500.
Okay, bit of a sad note for a second.
Oh, okay. I'm going to shut up.
Although he is suspected of harming or even killing a good number of people, one source even suspected around 30 people.
Oh my God.
He caught misdemeanor theft and assault charges. The police never actually indicted him for any major crimes.
Is there a statute of limitations on some of those things?
Yes, but there's other reasons why we can't charge him.
Oh.
Now.
What a Russian nesting doll of a story that you have given me.
Other people have caught on to what's going on, and I think you just missed one key phrase I said early on.
I almost always do.
Yeah, okay, cool. He was actually shot multiple times throughout 9 separate attempts on his life, and he did not die from any of them. Eventually, though, his thirst for material wealth turned his friends into foes and his name into mud.
Ooh.
On October 20th.
Sometimes you really do cook with some of these lines.
So poetic these days.
Pimps, etc.
Yeah. I want that on a t-shirt.
What it is our first tattoo. It was going to be Dear Listener, and now it's going to be Pimps, etc. In like typewriter typecast too.
Yes.
Like Street Poet meets this episode.
So October 20th, 1987, one of Fiddy's close friends, Julio Waymo Acevedo, yes, he goes by Waymo. He had a family member abducted and was given an ultimatum that he has to kill 50 Cent or be killed along with his family.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So on October 24th of that same year, so like 4 days later, in the evening, Waymo knocks on 50 Cent's girlfriend's door, which then causes 50 to like run out the door with Waymo. At 10 p.m., 50 Cent is found bleeding from multiple gunshot wounds, somewhere near the apartment building. And then 3 days later, he succumbs to his wounds in Kings County Hospital, leaving behind his baby mama and 2 daughters, one of which is a newborn.
I'm sorry, 50 Cent is dead?
There are 2, babe.
Oh.
The 50 Cent
you took my world
his name
and turned it on a box for like 2 lines. For like 2 lines, I was like, Pimps, etc. Wait, what? Have I been listening to ghost music? And now you've taken the box and set it right side back up.
Yeah.
But much it's like kind of now loose in there.
Yeah.
I'm shaking to my core.
Good.
Oh, when you were like, we're not talking about 50 Cent's the rapper yet?
Yeah, we're literally not talking about 50 Cent the rapper.
I thought you meant figuratively he had to become that through a process
and that's
of
why I just let you keep saying that. After a certain point,
Listen, I'm sure a majority of them caught that, but I am positive not all of them did. And they're having the same experience.
And that is really why I left you hanging.
Hopefully they got to this part of today's episode before they got to work, or else they're going to work being like, did you know 50 Cent died 2 decades ago? Did you know that? Because I'm listening to a podcast right now that will shock you.
They died. So on October 20, it's 3 days after the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 27th or 28th, 50 Cent dies. The original 50 Cent. Yeah. So Kelvin Darnell Martin, a.k.a. 50 Cent, dies in the hospital. He dies at the age of 23.
Oh.
If he were still alive today, he would be 60.
Oh, that's always sad.
He left his family next to nothing, according to Aunt Patricia. Quote, when he died, all the hospital gave me was his gold teeth. He had no jewelry. Later, I went to a safe deposit box at the Dime Savings Bank on DeKalb Avenue. That's where Kelvin kept his money that I used to bail him out of jail. Only he and I had the keys, but there was nothing there.
Oh, no wonder this aunt is coming with these quotes, though. I was like, this is a public figure.
Yeah. So Wemo never revealed who gave him the ultimatum to kill Kelvin, but he did get convicted of first-degree manslaughter and was sentenced to 8 years minimum.
Okay.
So now, Curtis James Jackson III was born on July 6th, 1975 in Queens, New York City.
And 50 Cent died when? What year?
1987.
1987.
So
and
he
now
was
Curtis is born in
1975.
So he is 14 when Curtis is 14 when 50 Cent dies.
Yes.
Okay.
So Curtis was raised by a single mother. She worked as a drug dealer and she died in an unexplained fire when Curtis was 8 years old.
So there's actually a shocking amount of tragedy at the start of this story.
Yeah. Curtis was then raised by his grandmother. He wanted to become a boxer and he fought at the junior level, but struggling to make ends meet, he began selling drugs at the age of 12. At 19, he was arrested by an undercover officer for selling vials of cocaine, and then upon raiding his home, they found him in possession of crack and heroin. He was then sentenced to 3 to 9 years. Instead, he went to boot camp and got his GED. By now, he's rapping, and he decided to take...
So his options are jail or the military?
Or the boot camp, I guess.
Right, they make the military thing? Okay.
Yeah, I think. He starts rapping, and he decides to take on the moniker 50 Cent, based off of Kelvin Martin's moniker. In a 2006 interview, he says, quote, "I took the name 50 Cent because it says everything I want it to say. I'm the same kind of person 50 Cent was. I provide for myself by any means. He'll never be forgotten. I'm dead serious. I'll see to it." Now, here's a quote from another article. The Martin family, aka Kelvin Martin's family, claims the rapper promised at one point to contribute money to their effort to place a headstone over Kelvin's unmarked grave. This was to be a kind of repayment for the cred 50's name lent him, but Jackson later reneged, they say. It seems his broken word lives up to the traitorous legacy of his childhood idol.
Oh. Okay. There's a lot in that sentence.
It could also be that 50 Cent got famous enough and then his publicist was like, we literally cannot have you doing that. He is suspected of murdering around 30 different individuals. But also still not a good look. For sure.
I'm searching my soul right now because I think everyone deserves a tombstone.
I agree.
I think acknowledgement of a life, despite how vicious it was.
I don't think I want to be buried though.
I mean, no, I want to be spread into the wind so I can whisper into you guys' ear for the rest of your lives. But
I really hope I go before you.
Yeah, you better. Because
I'm never
leaving.
You won't believe in the paranormal after I die.
No, I'll believe in you. I'll be like, Maya, go away. I'm talking to pimps, etc. right now.
Shit, that's gonna...
How about you, me, and the ghost of my former podcast co-host take this back to my place? Because when I'm good, I'm good.
And
but when
on
I'm
the
bad,
chalkboard, I just have written pimps, etc.
Because when I'm good, I'm good. But when I'm bad, I'm weird.
Good.
Okay, wow. We really took that moment and turned it on its head. We, again, turned it on its side.
Yeah. We're just loose inside.
Nice.
Is what it is. Okay.
I mean, I could cry.
I could cry.
You can't turn to me and look at me like that.
I mean, I could cry.
It's that scene from Lady Bird where the priest goes, "We're going to play a game. Whoever cries first wins." To really get into our emotions, okay? Cast?
Yeah.
Listen, the first time I saw that,
I need to watch that movie again. It's been a while.
I also cried, but tears of absolute humor and joy. Just so delicate.
So funny.
So crazy.
You just feel connected.
Just an incredible thing to see. Especially as a teacher who tries to teach
Get those
emotional
emotions out of him.
emoting.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, so where were we? What's going on? What's happening?
50 Cent takes the name 50 Cent.
Right. Curtis takes the name
Jackson.
50 Cents.
So his first intro to the New York hip hop scene was to Jam Master Jay from Run DMC. Jay was impressed with Curtis's rapping ability and produced an album for him, which never came out. Curtis would have another false start with Columbia label, where he would record an album that would be shelved prior to release. This album was called Power of the Dollar and would later be bootlegged and would showcase 50's really confrontational rapping style. In a song on Power of the Dollar, Power of the Dollar, there's a song called How to Rob, in which he details plans on how he'll steal from stars like P. Diddy, Jay-Z, and Missy Elliott. In 2000, Curtis forms the G Unit, G standing for Gorilla, so Gorilla Unit, with his friends Lloyd Banks and Tony Yayo. The group gets attention from Eminem and Dr. Dre, who heard 50 Cent's Guess Who's Back? Back again.
That's 50 Cents.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I thought that was Eminem.
Different Guess Who's Back than what I just quoted.
Sorry, I just felt like I was recording my phone's ringtone in 2005. Everyone quiet, this is my song. Okay. Cool.
So he records Guess Who's Back in 2002, and Dr. Dre and Eminem jointly sign him to their respective labels, Shady Records and Aftermath Entertainment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So in 2003, he then releases Get Rich or Die Tryin', which is produced jointly again by Eminem and Dr. Dre, and it was a hit selling 9 million units. This album featured singles like Wanksta and In the Club. In the club. Sorry, I'm too white.
Say it right.
In the club.
We all fam.
Yeah.
I've been using that to get my kids' attention, by the way.
That's beautiful.
I'll start off like if they're in
the
work time, I'll go in the club. We all fam, because then they gotta say what, and then I gotta go again in the club, and now like voices are dying down. We all fam, and then they yell what, and I go in the club. We are a family. We're all racist. Okay, so here's what we're doing next to the assignment. I'm changing lives.
Featuring singles like Wanksta and Into Club, this is where his brand begins. He wears a bulletproof vest and carries a handgun.
Oh, okay.
His appeal also lies in the fact that he's rapping about his lived experience, unlike some other rappers.
Are there people expressing the intent to commit violence towards him during this time?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Have you seen that meme of 2 children cowering in a corner at a bunny? And it says the children cowering in the corner are labeled Christian conservatives. And the bunny is labeled something they literally made up in their heads.
Beautiful.
I'm just wondering how close to that we are.
I don't know.
Okay.
So his appeal also lies in the fact that he's rapping about lived experiences. Per the LA Times, quote, his rhymes are average, but his lisp, his exaggerated delivery, and the beats backing him up push this collection over the edge.
Okay, yeah, he's fine, but he has an incredible producer, and so his team's solid.
Essentially. So 2004, G Unit, so that group of 3 rappers that he had like created, incorporated into his album Beg for Mercy, which sold 5 million copies worldwide. Oof. 2005, he releases The Massacre, another album where he continues to rap about drugs, crime, and sex, with tracks like Candy Shop,
Pimps,
and just a little bit. Yeah, Pimps,
Candy Shop.
Yeah.
Let's look to the Candy Shop.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're back into the era that I know again.
Yeah.
To continue.
So he then starts his own label under Interscope, which is Dr. Dre's label, and he signs Lloyd Banks and Young Buck. Those 2 are the new G Unit. So it used to be Lloyd Banks and Yayo, Tony Yayo, I think.
New Coke, new G Unit, etc.
In 2007, he releases Curtis, and in 2009, he releases Before I Self-Destruct. Both of these only had modest sales, but despite those modest sales, 50's personal history and as a reformed criminal and survivor of drugs, violence, and poverty secures his place in the hip-hop world. And then in 2014, he releases Animal Ambition, which sold just over 100,000 copies.
So not good.
Not great. And with that, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. So last we left off, we were hearing about 50 Cent, and his rap career.
Yeah. And he had just released in 2014 Animal Ambition.
Right. Was that his latest album?
I'm not sure if it's his latest, but I know if it's the one that did not do well.
A decade ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So he also does expand into other markets.
Ooh,
so
nice.
He creates a lifestyle brand, a lot like Dr. Dre and Jay-Z. He actually promotes and invests in Vitaminwater.
Promotes Vitaminwater?
Promotes and invests in Vitaminwater.
Well, that's why he's promoting it.
Yeah. And in 2007, when Vitaminwater gets sold to Coca-Cola, he makes $100 million.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was what year?
2007.
Why did he keep making music?
Well, I think he actually should have probably stopped.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's learning.
I'm the definition of would continue to work if I won the lottery, and even I would pause after winning $100 million.
Yeah. So he also founds a relatively successful headphone line called SMS Audio. He has 2 sons from different mothers. Their names are Marquise and Sire.
Okay.
In 2013, he plays a prominent role in Escape Plan alongside Sylvester Stallone. Which
a movie?
Yeah, including 2 sequels.
That's what I would be doing.
Yes. He also appears in Spy, a 2015 movie, and Southpaw, another 2015 movie, as well as Den of Thieves, which was released in 2018. He was sued by Listonia Leviston, who I think is like a previous girlfriend of another rapper, because he allegedly released a sex tape without her permission. He was found liable for $7 million of damages in July of 2015, which I believe he paid.
Okay.
He is currently expanding into TV. He is an executive producer on the show Power, which debuted in 2014. Per IMDb, here's a description of the show. James, aka Ghost St. Patrick, a wealthy New York nightclub owner who has it all, dreaming big, catering to the city's elite, and having a double life as a drug kingpin. The show stars
Is
Omari.
that a double life or just the same life?
I don't know. So it stars Omari Hardwich, Leela Lauren, and more. It debuted in 2014 and has 6 seasons, and has also led to several spin-offs, including Ghost and Raising Kanan. Both being renewed for a 4th season, and then another one, Force, which is being renewed for a 3rd season.
I think that's like, it's still what's so crazy about television is that there are literally millions of Americans watching like cable television shows that you and I have never seen.
Or like really know anything about.
The spinoffs were called Ghost and Raising
Kanan, Kanan.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like how
and Force.
It's like how Big Bang created Young Sheldon, which now has created 2 other spinoffs, like Mandy's and George's First Marriage. It's like, imagine being the star of a show that's the spinoff of a show that's the prequel of a successful show.
Yes. I would actually be the most mad if I was part of that original show and none of those prequels gave me any royalties. That would be where I would be really mad.
Until, of course, there's Big Bang like series where you get like just gotta,
Yeah, and then I would love that. So he also has a series called BMF, which just wrapped its season 3 as of like today, 2024, and is being considered for its own spinoff.
What's it called? BMF? What does that stand for?
I wish I had looked that up. I don't know. In season 1, Eminem, so one of his first producers, guest starred in it. So Power and BMF average about 10 million multi-platform views per episode.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
10 million viewers?
Per episode.
I feel like maybe I've heard of Power, but BMF?
I have not heard of,
Big Friendly Giant? Like what? Like I don't... Okay, all right.
Okay, so...
But I bet they haven't watched English Teacher on Hulu, which is feeling increasingly like a documentary about my own life. And in a funny, sexy, uncomfortable way. Oh, I told Lydia this. My new favorite adjective to use, and I gotta stop, is sexy. It's just so funny. So you've heard me probably say it recently.
It's a good adjective, maybe not for you as a teacher.
I looked at some of my fellow teachers at last week's tournament, coaches at other schools, who had let in my students who were on the wait list. And I said, that was a really cool, interesting, sexy thing you guys did when you let my entries off. And I thought that was funny. And they were like...
Don't say that to us.
I was like, I thought we were best friends, but we are, I guess, at work. So.
I'm still trying to get some of my coworkers to recognize that fun can be used sarcastically. Like, well, that was fun. And they're like, some of them respond like, well, was it? And I'm like, no, that's the point.
The difference between you working with a bunch of engineers and me working with a bunch of, but also the adults that I work with who are like trained professionally to like read social situations and others, that's crazy.
I know. Okay, so in addition to Power and BMF, he also has 2 up-and-coming shows, Fightland and Queen Nzinga. The former, Fightland, is a boxing drama, and the latter is about an African warrior queen.
I'm prepared for you to be like, he was also an assistant executive producer on Mike and Molly, my parents' favorite show. Every year I go home, and they're like, now watch this.
And you're like, oh,
isn't that
okay.
funny? And I'm like, yeah, I
sure.
guess. I keep going like, Mom, Dad, if you want, I can get you like the box set of the series. like I don't mean to be like flow my wealth around, but I'm like, sure, I can find the box set of Mike and Molly. And my parents go, we would never watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And I think for my dad, it's like at least half of it is The Hunt. It's like I was looking for something, and now it turns out it's Mike and Molly.
Fair.
Is it? Or are you just being nice?
Know. Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay. So while many producers, especially executive producers, are relatively uninvolved, Kevin Briggs, who is the chair of the Lionsgate Television Group, says that 50 Cent is very hands-on, involved, collaborative, and he worked closely with writers and showrunners. As of 2024, he is currently 49 years old.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that wild? He currently has shows in development for Hulu, Paramount Plus, Peacock, and BET.
Okay, so he really has stopped producing music.
Yeah, maybe. He is working on a series based on 2002's 8 Mile with Eminem.
I want to be a producer.
Where the people are.
Pimps, etc.
Yes, etc.
I want that to be the title of this episode.
So good.
And I'm so positive
I wasn't
we
even
can't.
thinking about it when I wrote it. Okay. Below what I'm about to show you are photos taken for The Hollywood Reporter. 50 is sitting on $3.5 million in cold, hard cash.
Oh, nice.
And when he was asked, did you have to go to the bank to get that? He said, no. I was just inspired by Muhammad Ali, who had a picture of him sitting on $1 million of cash. And I just kind of wanted something similar to
So how
that.
much money is this?
So Muhammad Ali sat on, I'll show you the first two, on $1 million of his earnings for Sports Illustrated. And there's two pictures, so you can scroll. My favorite is the second one, so scroll this way, don't scroll down yet.
Okay.
He's like literally at a bank. That's the cover of Sports Illustrated that he took.
You can tell the like time period because it has just like that like uranium neon glow to it a little bit.
If you scroll down like a little baby bit, you can see what I wrote.
Muhammad Ali sitting on about $1 million taken February 1964 for Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
They paid $1 million.
No, like that's what he won. That's his winnings.
That's his winnings.
Yeah. Yes.
Love that there's also just like a bag of, I'm assuming, quarters.
Like quarters, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe there's 50 cents in there. I don't know.
Hey.
And then scroll over.
Curtis is about to be born. Like this way?
Yes. This is another photo taken shortly before the like official one that I actually like a lot more. He looks so happy. There's like an actual bank guard in the background, so you can like tell that it was like a high security thing.
Such an incredible smile.
Yeah, and it was taken by one of his friends, I believe, if you see in the caption.
So where's the picture?
And then
of
scroll
50
down.
Cents? Okay.
That is the photo of 50 Cent with 3.5 million.
I am realizing right now, I had no idea what 50 cents looked like.
Me neither.
I mean, this is also, like it's a cool photo.
It is a cool photo.
Don't get me wrong, but it lacks a certain timelessness, you know?
It lacks what Muhammad Ali had, but I think that's kind of the point, is that it's inspired by...
This photo was taken in 2007?
No, that photo was way more recent. Maybe
2024?
Yeah. By The Hollywood Reporter.
Oh, interesting. I like his pants. I will give him that.
I know. He has a good fashion sense.
Okay, I'll give this back to you.
So that's him. And so, moving on to our next little section. Here at Well I Laughed, we're famous for forgiving, but never forgetting.
Oh, yes, we are. I have no idea what's to come next,
Much like 50 Cent. Well, sometimes. Sometimes the feuds with 50 Cent end well. Sometimes they don't.
Okay.
You'll remember that I said 50 Cent is considered like the king of hip hop feuds, essentially. So we're going to do like a rundown of very quickly, like each rapper. We're going to quickly go over 50 Cent's feud with that rapper.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Until we get to the last two, because the last two are hilarious. Well, in most... Anyway. Here is his feud.
Really long lingering ellipses there.
It's fine.
Like texting a boomer.
It's like, I don't want to say it's fun because it's not in some cases. But anyway, here is his feud with the rapper The Game.
Okay.
In 2004, The Game was placed in the G Unit, the guerrilla unit. So it was shortly after it was formed, and he was placed in it by Eminem and Dr. Dre, the like producers of G Unit.
Right.
And this was in order to help promote the rapper after he was signed on to Aftermath, which I believe is one of Dr. Dre's labels. Aftermath Entertainment / Interscope Records. Those are joint ventures founded by Dr. Dre. So 50 actually helps the Game write the first 2 singles of Game's album, quote, documentary. The name of the album is The Documentary.
Okay.
The songs that 50 helps write are called West Side Story and How We Do. And in 2005, the record label pushes back the release of 50 Cent's sophomore album entitled The Massacre to accommodate the documentary.
And now 50 Cent's like,
50 Cent's like, are you fucking kidding me? So later on...
Know your worth, babes. You're worth at least 50 cents.
Literally. So in 2005, the record label pushed back the release of his sophomore album. Then later on in 2005, Game said on a radio interview on Hot 97 that he's not going to get involved with any of 50 Cent's beef because 50 Cent's already...
Talking crap
also
about him.
pretty... notoriously known for having beef with other rappers, and we'll talk about the rappers I'm about to talk about are not in chronological order, so some of them started before this. So 50's already known for having beef with other rappers, and so the Game's like, I'm not getting involved in this. And the name of the radio show is called Hot 97. Remember that.
Okay.
A few days later, 50 Cent goes on to that same radio show, Hot 97, to publicly kick Game out of G-Unit live on air.
Oh, hell yeah. Sorry. And this is why Americans are the way we are, right? Like, we are
Give me the drama.
We're a multicultural, oldest democracy in the world, like armed to the teeth and obsessed with drama.
Obsessed with it.
I love us. And also obsessed with, in my opinion, microwavable nachos.
That too. A little bit sad for a second.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Brief trigger warning for gun violence. So Game, while 50 Cent is still on air at Hot 97, Game and some of his crew shows up to the radio station, and a shooting occurs outside the building, and one person is injured. Nobody dies. And that's the end of that feud. It seems today as though they've made up. They're seen at clubs together.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was just so much for me all at once.
Yeah.
And not to make this like a gendered thing.
Yeah.
Because I really do think when they're like, boys and girls fight differently, it's like, no, boys are stupid. And that's why they fight differently. They forget. But
women are like vitriolic.
Legitimately, I had to talk a child through something today where I was like, the mean thing that other girl said to you was actually just her gaslighting you into what she wanted. And I don't think you should spend time with them. Stop stabbing each other with scissors. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's psychological warfare. Like a legitimate retelling of
You're
what
gonna love
happened.
the next few sections.
A child broke my stapler last week because they stapled themselves, and then the process of getting it out ruined the spring to the stapler.
No!
So do you know what the stapler is now? Because it's still labeled with my name on it. It's the bathroom pass you can't forget.
That's beautiful.
Listen,
love that.
It's like use every part of the buffalo, use every part of the stapler. Because you better believe before it became the whole bathroom pass, I did take out the staples that were in it, like
and
the
put it into the
one.
new staples.
Correct. And then also saved the rubber part at the bottom because those actually kind of end up getting lost pretty regularly, you know?
I get it. Are you ready for the next feud?
I'm afraid because I was like, haha, microwavable nachos. Oh, gun violence.
Most of them aren't like super violent. There is some gun violence in some of the next ones, but they're none of it, like nobody dies.
Okay.
So the next one is with Young Buck and Lloyd Banks, which is the new G Unit I had presented earlier. So in 2008, 50 drops Young Buck from G Unit again live on Hot 97.
Oh my God, he's like Azalea Banks. I love him.
And so because he does this because Young Buck was speaking publicly about internal issues within the group.
Can't do that.
Yeah, Buck had claimed on I think on Hot 97 that he had not received any royalty checks since signing with G Unit. So I don't know what the resolution to this was, but there's a feud. In 2010, 50 Cent fought with Lloyd Banks because Lloyd Banks did not want to feature Eminem on his album HFM 2. And obviously 50 Cent has a special place in his heart for Eminem and Dr. Dre because they are the ones that initially believed in him.
Got him his start.
Yeah, got him his start. In 2014, however, they all made up and performed together Hot 97's
Hell yeah.
Summer Jam
Hell yeah.
concert. But of course,
we are the world.
but of course, they fall out again.
Got to juice those record sales.
Yeah. In 2016, Lloyd Banks poses for a photo with The Game. And in 2018, he announces he's not part of the G Unit anymore. In 2019, Young Buck then accuses 50 Cent of sabotaging his career. In response, 50 Cent mocks his romantic life.
It's a tough game to be a part of.
Yeah. The next feud is with Cam'ron. So it's like CAM''RON, Cam'ron.
Okay.
In 2007, 50 began feuding with Cam'ron live on air on Hot 97.
Hot 97 is like, we gotta get 50 Cent back in here.
Yeah. So 50 was on air promoting his third album, his name album, Curtis, when Cam'ron and the general manager of Coach Records, Alan Grunblatt, called into Hot 97. They argued on air over the fact that 50 had previously called Coach Records a, quote, graveyard in regards to their sales stats of their artists. Hot 97 had to cut the argument short when Cam'ron started swearing.
I love how Hot 97 has literally triggered a shootout outside of its studios. So when someone starts to swear,
they're like,
use profanity in their interview with rappers, they're like, go ahead and take us to break.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
In 2016, it looks like Cam and 50 are friends again. They're sharing photos together on Instagram. The next feud, Jay-Z, probably the earliest feud. 1999.
Oof.
You remember that first album or the second first album that then got bootlegged?
Oh, because I was born in the 90s, I'm just going to remember that.
I told you that.
No, I know. I'm giving you a hard time.
In 1999, 50 releases How to Rob, in which he attacks Jay-Z. He attacks like P. Diddy, Jay-Z, and what's their name? Where is it? And Missy Elliott. That he's going to steal their fame. Okay. So in that song, he attacks Jay-Z. At Hot 97's 1999 Summer Jam, Jay-Z debuts his song, It's Hot, parentheses, some like it hot.
Nice. It's hot, and some like that.
Yes.
It's debatable.
Okay. Go against N-word. This is the quote. This is a quote from the song. Go against N-word. Your ass is dense. I'm about $1. What the hell is 50 cents? What the fuck is 50 cents? That's such a good line.
It is, but then the line of you going, what the fuck is 50 cents?
I forgot that that I cuss. Sometimes I see curse words and I'm like, do I censor it? And no, I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50
just
cents?
To circle back to get it. I love it.
Fine. In 2003, though, 50 Cent and Jay-Z went on a joint tour together and performed together with Kanye West, P. Diddy, and T.I. at Screamfest in 2007.
Oh, T.I.
Forgot about them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The nostalgia is nostalgia-ine.
Yeah. So in 2009...
I know T.I.'s not a good person, but that's a name I haven't
neither are
heard in a
Kanye
while.
West or P. Diddy.
Right,
so,
right,
I mean,
right.
So in
Heartbreaking, the worst person you know just made a banger.
Yeah. So in 2009, 50 Cent said in an interview with Rolling Stone that Jay-Z had a, quote, king complex and, quote, he thinks he's fucking Jesus. He has recently called out Jay-Z's...
No, because he's actually effing Beyonce.
I mean, yeah. Wait, okay. He has recently called Jay-Z's 444 album, quote, golf course music, and claimed he only won Grammys because of his wife.
I mean, it feels feminist, and so I want to support it.
A little.
I've told you the time I got a chance to see Jay-Z and Beyonce at the Rose Bowl, right?
No.
Okay, little story time real quick for us.
Yeah, I'm ready.
In college, first summer after freshman year, interned in Washington, D.C. Like, gotta top that. So second summer, I interned at, I heard it too.
Gotta top that.
I interned with the summer school program called the Breakthrough Collaborative in San Juan Capistrano. It's a great program. Check out Breakthrough Collaborative. They have chapters all over, not being paid to endorse it. Just a really meaningful program to me. And then at the end of my junior year, before I started senior, I was like having this huge identity crisis. I was like, what do I do? I loved last summer so much. It'll be impossible to do better than that one. And I was like, oh, I'll just go back. I'll just do it again. So I do it a second year. And my friend Diana lives in LA and is back for her second year as well. And so we're like immediate besties, and her birthday's during the summer. And so I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be so much fun. And then her and her sister get into an argument.
Oh my God.
And she uninvites her sister to Beyonce and Jay-Z at the Rose Bowl. And like the next day is like, Grant, tomorrow's Saturday. Do you want to go with me?
Yes, I do, Barbie.
Absolutely, I do. Please do not make up with you. I think I even told her on Friday, I was like, if you end up like making up with your sister, I'll understand.
I'll be heartbroken.
I will be waiting for you. Had a beautiful time. She had just come out.
Excited.
Is the Lemonade album the song that has Surfboard on it?
I could not tell you. I'm so
Whatever
bad
album
with
that is, it might be around that time. That's the album that had just come out, and the tour was to help promote it.
Timeline-wise.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was Beyonce and Jay-Z joint concert together. Me and my friend Diana just having a great time.
Have you seen all the shit with like the controversy where people are like, why does everyone thank Beyonce in their acceptance speeches at the Grammys? And
no,
it's like,
although this sounds a lot like what my barber was starting to talk about.
It just feels a little like, it's like knock on wood kind of like
Sure.
like you're a little superstitious. Like if I don't thank Beyonce, something bad's gonna happen.
Part of me thinks she's actually so ingrained in the music industry. Like she helps bring up like new producers and things like that. Like at least obviously this is an apples to Space Aliens comparison here.
Aliens.
Like there's no real comparison.
Yeah.
But I think everyone knows this. In your line of work, there's always kind of like a handful of people that end up like dominating like the sphere or the culture or whatever, right? And they kind of drive a lot of that kind of stuff. I know that's true in my own line of work, both as a teacher and as a coach. I'm just assuming that's what's going on with Beyonce, but I have done zero research.
No, I have also. I'm too scared to research it a little bit,
Good.
Especially after all my like cookies and stuff on my internet. Remember everything I researched for QAnon. I don't. I don't need that.
You are battling the internet for the next couple weeks.
I really am.
I was on TikTok and I was scrolling and I saw come to this video and it's like a progressive perception on the election, and I just wasn't in the mood to like learn about the election. So I scroll up and then 2 videos later it's a Ben Shapiro video.
Oh God.
And I was like, oh, you thought that's meant I was a conservative. And I almost dwelled long enough to block that account, but I was like, no, just like the fastest scroll
you can possibly
is the best you can do.
I was listening to a podcast about this topic essentially, and at some point they're mentioning a video that one of the people I'm about to mention posted during the COVID pandemic about how they looked like really gray and like old and stuff a few weeks into it, and the host of the podcast was like, he looked like he needed a shot of adrenochrome. And it was like the type of podcast where I was like, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or if you're not. I'm leaning towards sarcastic because the rest of the information you provided me has been super credible and very I've been able to source check everything, but I was like, that's not something you could just say.
I know that we're talking to our choir here when I say this, but I am tired of sharing the responsibility of building a beautiful society and future with idiots. I'm tired of sharing that responsibility.
No, that's fair. Are you ready for our next feud?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, right, yes.
Next feud is with Lil Wayne.
Oh, God, another name that I have not heard in forever.
In a 2007 interview, 50 called Lil Wayne a whore due to him.
That was the offensive thing?
I think 50 initiated it. 50 called Lil Wayne a whore due to his high number of guest features. 50 then released a diss track called Part-Time Lover, aimed at Lil Wayne and the founder of Case Money Records, whose name is Birdman.
Good. Okay, good.
And that's just like an insane sentence. Sometimes, like, because I'm not so ingrained in the hip-hop industry, it would be like reading a sentence of just like complete gibberish.
Are you ready for old Lil Wayne?
Yes, I am.
I needed to see what he looked like.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I saw that earlier today. Okay, I was like, "Oh my God, you do not look okay."
It's like hearing the name of an actress from like 2005.
No. I absolutely
what
get
does Katherine Heigl look like right now? Like,
I don't know, and exactly. I don't think I want to know. Yeah. So the founder of Case Money Records, Birdman, was just an insane sentence to read and have to process. So here's a quote. I think that this is from the diss track "Part-Time Lover." It's more than your body. Oh, God. Okay. It's more than your body, baby. Damn, it's your brain. You make me want to kiss you like baby kiss Wayne and make you call me daddy like baby do Wayne. Anyway, Wayne.
Poetry.
Wayne, the way I almost made you read all of these, like.
Well, because when you're winning, you're winning.
Yeah. Just like on stage, like spoken word poetry. Yeah.
Today's reading is from the book of Little Wayne.
So Wayne responds to 50 Cent with his track called Louisianimal. And this is the lyric in that.
Louisianimal
yes.
or Louisianamole?
Louisianimal.
Oh, yep.
So the lyric there is, call me Lil Louisiana Carter. I go hard, all about $1, fuck 2 quarters.
Oh, wow. That's actually kind of really clever.
Yeah. In 2009, 50 called Wayne a junkie in an interview with Rolling Stone. In 2012, although they appear to have made up when Wayne had a seizure, 50 wished him well, which is good.
I didn't know about that.
And then in 2023, 50 said that although he's never worked with Lil Wayne, he now wants to collaborate with him. So, and ended well.
Is Lil Wayne still producing music?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
I am desperate for one of these men to come out with like a Bon Iver collab indie album. Like,
it would be good.
Like every gay person knows that their favorite pop star who produces like 2 or 3 incredible pop albums inevitably has an acoustic guitar album, which, while sure has some bangers, is not what we came for. I'm looking at you, Lady Gaga, Casey Musgraves, Carly Rae Jepsen.
I'm looking at Machine Gun Kelly. We didn't need the alt rock version, but I like you more this way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, the next feud, Rick Ross. The feud started in 2008 when Ross felt slighted by 50 at the BET event, or at a BET event, and then the next year he released Mafia Music, in which he disses 50. Here's a lyric. I love to pay you bills, can't wait to pay you rent. Curtis Jackson, baby mama, I ain't looking for a cent. Burn the house down. This is in reference to a house fire that at a house owned by 50 Cent in 2008.
Oh.
Seems a little uncalled for. In the response track,
which you burnt alive, does feel a little personal.
Yeah.
And I took that personally.
Yeah. I just want you to know. In the response track, 50 disses Ross in a song called Officer Ricky, parentheses, go ahead, try me.
Nice.
In which he calls Ross
Roxanne's
a, quote,
cousins.
Fat fuck.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. In 2018, Ross was... So you remember the last one where Lil Wayne had a seizure and 50 Cent was like, hope you're good.
Well. Right.
In this case, in 2018, Ross was rushed to the hospital after being found unresponsive, and 50 mocked him on Instagram.
Oh no.
Oh no. In 2019, in a 2019 interview, this is kind of funny, Rick Ross was asked if he would ever work with 50 Cent, and he replied, quote, honestly, I'm a businessman. If 50 Cent still had value, I may have done it, but I'm not being funny, homie. Just ain't that dude no more.
He'll get you halfway to $1.
That is just like the most savage burn. Like, I'm in it for the business, and he's just not worth it. That's brutal. That's
devastating.
Brutal.
Airstrikes bomb them.
Yes,
devastating.
Exactly. The third to last feud we'll talk about, Nas. Nas invited 50 to join him on his promo
different than Lil Nas X?
Yes.
Okay.
His promo tour for 1999 album Nostradamus. Nas was one of 50's biggest supporters, but in 2002, 50 recorded a feature on J-Lo's song I'm Gonna Be Alright. But J-Lo's record label replaced 50 Cent's feature with Nas's feature for the radio version, and thus the feud was born. Nas in 2004 said, quote, 50 has been saying some shit since he came out in 2002. He said I did a song with Jennifer Lopez and I wasn't supposed to because he did a song with her. In 2005...
She's my friend.
Yeah, literally. In 2005, 50 releases a diss track aimed at Nas's then wife, which really does seem uncalled for. Nas responds to this by saying that 50 didn't have enough hit records to warrant a response from him.
He's like, yeah, I don't respond to every person who tweets at me.
Yeah, that's literally what he fucking said.
So devastating.
That's so good. In 2014, though, they seem to have made up.
That's the theme for all of them. Anyways, he was at his daughter's birthday party.
And they performed together at Hot 97 Summer Jam in 14.
Do we need to go to Hot 97 Summer Jam?
So earlier in 2023, 50 is featured on Nas's Office Hours from his 16th studio album, Magic 2. So here is my second to last feud. One of my favorites.
And thanks for listening this week.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding.
The next two parts are the longest.
You know I'm kidding.
Ja Rule.
Is that a thing?
Do you know who Ja Rule is?
No.
Then 50 Cent did his job.
Oh.
In the words of one of the comedians I watched in regards to this.
Oh.
Okay.
Not you doing the
so
High School Musical.
I'm so
pull
excited
together.
about the end of this. You're gonna die. In an interview in 2003, Ja Rule told MTV that he believed that his feud with 50 Cent originated when he unknowingly snubbed 50 Cent during a music video shoot in New York City. 50 Cent, in his 2005 biography, said the feud started when one of his friends robbed Ja for his necklace in 1999.
Okay.
So there's conflicting stories on how
He's
the feud
wrong.
started.
I've hated you for years before that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Regardless of how or why it started, the feud's been ongoing. In 1999, 50 Cent released Life's on the Line from his first shelved debut album. It was then eclipsed by Ja Rule's million-unit selling album, Veni Venti Vecchi. In 2000, both are booked to perform at an Atlanta nightclub, which ended in a verbal and then physical altercation between the two. Also in 2000, 50 Cent with G-Unit. So 50 Cent was with G-Unit at the time, sorry.
Okay.
50 Cent was stabbed in New York after an altercation with people associated with Ja Rule's record label, which is called Murder, Inc. In 2002, 50 Cent releases Wanksta, which is one of the songs of his first actually released album.
Okay.
It was inspired by Ja Rule and becomes 50 Cent's first hit single, peaking at number 13.
Okay.
Between 2002 and 2003, several diss tracks are produced between the two towards each other. In 2003, I think, BET has a series called Beef, in which they go over like hip hop beefs. And
really inventive title.
There's a BET, I think it's like the film Beef, released in 2003. I watched part of it. I kind of skipped through trying to get to the good parts. They interview both 50 Cent and Ja Rule.
Okay.
And it's so fucking funny because it's in the 2000s.
I love how much source material you got into and how unlike anything you've ever read before it was.
So funny. So this is.
Oh, he's on a couch. It's the most. I'm sorry.
Being interviewed.
It's the most unflattering angle, and this hits me with one of my. This is just 20 seconds tops.
Yeah, go for it.
Whenever you're out to dinner with someone you haven't seen in a while, and they're like, "We should get a picture," and they hand the phone to the waitress.
Oh,
you should know that friend doesn't love you.
That's gonna be the worst angle.
It's the worst angle. Yeah, because all there is just paunch above and below
like
table
chin somehow,
and it's just like, and also the table is never well set because you think about it after the triple dip or appetizer or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
so
after
food
kind of or after
greasy
appetizer.
And what? Like you're at an Applebee's. Like when you're here, your family. Like what? Anyways,
so please
show me.
This is when Ja Rule is asked about 50 Cent, and it's a really short clip, so it might take us a couple seconds to like get it right.
We went down with that cat 50 Cent. We went down with that. Who? That cat 50 Cent.
Who?
I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what you're talking about. From adjacent?
Who is that even talking about?
He was talking about 50 Cent. I don't know what the question was, but the guy sitting next to him was like trying to get him to talk about 50 Cent. And he was like, who? Who?
Okay, can I see this real quick though?
Yeah, I'll scroll it back a second. Oh gosh. You're now on a picture of young 50 Cent.
Okay,
so
here. Oh
play
wow,
it a second. Yeah,
it's actually a great picture of him.
I know.
So here's the thing. Here's how terrible 50 Cent's ruined this man's career. He is seated on a couch.
This is before his career's even like over,
Shut
though.
up,
Is the thing.
for real?
Yeah,
Because he's seated
has a moment
on a couch.
Yes.
It's the worst angle you could imagine. It's the most generic couch with two people who you do not recognize. You can see the mics in everything.
Yes.
And that's just tough. It's tough for him.
It's really
tough
bad. For him. So when asked about 50 Cent, he goes, Who? I don't care about him. And he essentially is like later on, I don't have time to think about like haters, essentially, or people who don't matter. However, I don't have time to go through everything that 50 Cent said in this little docuseries moment from BET, but 50 Cent fucking goes off. So 50 Cent, or Ja Rule's asked about 50 Cent. Ja Rule goes, who? 50 Cent is asked about Ja Rule, and 50 Cent loses his goddamn mind. And that's the petty kind
50 Cent was like, I was waiting for this question. Thank you so much for asking.
This is the petty kind of pure hate.
Me, whenever you hit one of my target words, which even I don't know about. Thank you. I've been meaning to tell the story.
Yes, exactly.
So my friend Diana hates her sister, right? That's important for the story.
Yeah. My grandmother's grandmother.
Her aunt.
Yes. Yes.
I say that to the kids all the time, and the seniors get it, and everyone else is like, this man has lost his marbles. And of course I have. I never had him to begin with, but I am referencing something.
Yes.
And then one gay kid, and this is why I remembered it, because like I took the criticism seriously, goes, Mister, every day you make like a dozen references to things that only you get. And
he was like, yeah. Grant was like, yeah.
I did actually say one more thing in this.
Okay.
A couple of my students today didn't even sneak out, but like stepped out of the classroom in the chaos that is a public speaking classroom to talk to their friend who was in the hallway. And I went and found them within like 90 seconds and brought them back. And they're sitting down. They're kind of smiling, like, you know what you got. And I go, do you want to know why? Do you want to know why I went off and got you? Because I noticed you were gone almost immediately because you were always misbehaving and I have to always keep an eye on you. You should think about what I just said, take it personally, and change everything about yourself. It's like 3 seniors who I love to death and brought to the East Coast.
And they're like, okay,
Exactly.
Mr. Thomas still loves us.
Exactly. But I could be like, you should take everything that's inside of you and put it somewhere and get new stuff.
And no, I get that.
Continue. They'll lose this job.
So March of 2003, Ja Rule accuses 50 Cent of getting a protection order against him as a publicity stunt.
Okay.
And saying that it's fake. So he discovers that there is a protection order against him from 50 Cent. And he's like, how dare you do this right before my album releases? This is obviously a publicity stunt.
Right.
And then I think 50 Cent is maybe like, no, I think it's a publicity stunt for you to give you more street cred.
Love it.
And so 50 Cent's like, I grew up on the streets. I don't need street cred.
I'll call you right now.
Yeah. 50 Cent denies it. And then it also turns out that the protection order is real, but it turns out the police filed it on behalf of 50 Cent, not from 50 Cent's like request or ask. Like it was filed, but it was never like really a thing.
So
that
there's
50
like
Cent was
one
like,
person in the police office who's watching all of these interviews.
Like, this needs to stop.
We gotta put some protection
like
around him.
I don't know.
But let's not tell him because that'll start another feud. And I don't know when Hot 97's next summer bash is.
Yeah. So April 4th, 2003, still the same year, Ja Rule makes his fatal mistake. This is why
getting in a feud with 50 Cent.
This is why his career goes to shit.
Okay.
He releases a song called Loose Change, in which he not only goes after 50 Cent, but also his 2 original producers, Dr. Dre and Eminem.
That does feel like a deeply fatal mistake.
It's a bad choice because I think 50 Cent feels very loyal towards these men.
Oh, the people who gave him his start in music?
But also because Eminem is a master with words.
Right. He's a producer now for a reason.
And is also funny as shit.
Right.
Like naturally. So he says...
Listen, this is... forget whatever I thought about Eminem when I was a child, and I was like raised like a closeted, fat, queer Christian boy in the Midwest.
Okay.
So Eminem was not necessarily like exalted
your
in my
thing
communities.
that you're listening to, yeah.
But James Franco and Seth Rogen's movie, The Interview, came out.
Yeah.
And at the start of that, Eminem plays himself and pretends to come out as gay. And that, it was so funny. And in my mind, it was like, this is so self-actualized. This is a person who has such confidence in who they are that they can do something so truly ridiculous. And then like, regardless of like his wordsmithing elsewhere, I'm like, this guy kind of understands everything that's going on. Like this is
the
like,
way Eminem songs have made me cry.
Yeah, like if you were to write out that pitch on paper, you'd be like, absolutely not. This is not good for my career. But like it just, I
His
would
play
absolutely
with
not
words is
upset
really
him.
good.
And that's why I'm so thrilled that he endorsed Kamala Harris. I'm really hoping we won Michigan, guys. We do not know, and I'm terrified.
Anyway,
I'm gonna have more wine.
Ja Rule releases Loose Change, and so he also comes for Dr. Dre and Eminem. His real bad choice was this lyric towards Eminem. M, you claim your mother's a crackhead and Kim is a known slut. So what's Haley gonna be when she grows up?
Ooh.
Haley is her daughter,
Right.
his daughter.
Don't hit your mom, your ex-partner, and a child all in one line.
So that was released April 4th of 2003. Eminem then releases 2 response tracks April 15th, 2003. One called Do Re Mi, parentheses, Haley's Revenge, and then another called Hail Mary. And then he releases another one in November called Bully. In Do Re Mi, Haley's Revenge, Haley makes an appearance.
His daughter?
His daughter. Don't worry, I'll play it for you.
Haley,
Thank you.
what do you want to be when you grow up, baby?
I don't know. But I don't want to grow up to be like Ja Rule's little dirty ass kid.
Wait. There's another line I want you to hear in a second. So fucking good.
Haley! Come here, baby. Come here, baby. Bring Daddy his Oscar.
Okay.
We're going to shove it up Ja Rule's ass.
If you didn't
Bring
get that,
Daddy his Oscar.
if you didn't get that, it says, Haley, what you want to be when you grow up, baby? And she responds, I don't know, but I don't want to grow up to be like one of Ja Rule's dirty ass kids. And then later he says, Haley, come here, baby. Bring Daddy his Oscar. We're going to shove it up Ja Rule's ass.
I'm not going to give you any context. I'm just asking you to trust me as an educator. I had a student earlier this week, or maybe last week, who like kind of kept insisting they knew more than I did on a
I hate
topic. And here's the thing, I certainly don't know everything. But when it comes to like the wording we are looking at specifically, like in some of these speeches, I have 2 decades of experience. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And second, it's different if I'm having a one-on-one conversation, and it's different than if I'm having like a whole lesson. In this instance, I'm leading a whole lesson, and this child is trying to correct me. So I went, love that. We can talk more about that in a second. Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and pause that, and we can kind of get more into the details in a second. Third time, I look at him and I go, I have a master's degree and have been in education longer than you have been in school. I need you to stop talking right now, or you will actually be in trouble.
Good for you.
Okay, so what we're going to see here in the third paragraph, kids.
That's how I feel when I'm doing a story and Grant keeps fucking talking.
I have, like tonight, right now.
Yeah.
I poured
No,
more
I'm
wine.
kidding. Right now it's fine.
I so rarely actually pull rank, and in one-on-one I never
that.
would.
Yeah.
But it would be like, I have given you chances to not put yourself in this position.
Like not be a dick.
Correct.
Yeah.
And now I need you to know I know more than you, and it's going to get worse for you.
Yeah. So we
Bring
heard
Daddy his masters. I'm going to shove it up this
His
freshman's.
So in the interlude to that particular song, he also then says, don't you ever say my little girl's name in a song again. And there's a few lines that I'm not going to repeat. It says, Haley'll whip your motherfucking ass.
Hell yeah, okay,
And
absolutely.
I love that for a lot of reasons. And that's like, I'm not going to whip your ass. My daughter's going to whip your ass.
My favorite thing about the episode so far has been the amount of times I have a chance just to Google people from my childhood.
Oh, yeah, it's good. Okay. At the very end of the song, at the outro, Haley makes another appearance. She says, Daddy, is Ja Rule taller than me? And he goes, no, honey, you guys are the same size.
That's so funny.
That's one of 3 response tracks.
No, do you know why that's so funny? Hear me out. It's one of those criticisms that the other person can't even touch.
Yeah.
Because what do you say? No, I actually am smaller. I'm taller than a child.
Taller than your daughter.
I'm
yeah.
taller than a child. Like, it's like, you can be
Because
like.
then you have to address the fact that you
Right.
made fun of the daughter.
Because if you're to be like, your skills are bad or like your beats are bad or whatever, you can kind of like pull credentials. But if I'm like, you're short.
what are you gonna
saying
do with
to that?
It's so good. So here's a quote from Billboard. The beef, this is good. The beef helped accelerate the downward trajectory of Ja Rule's career and the subsequent decline of Murder Inc. following shortly after.
So he killed the entire thing.
It's done.
Good for him.
But however, the feud's not over.
Here's the thing. He can play like that. He's playing with house money. He will always have Hot 97 to fall back on.
It's true. It's true. Wait, Hot 97 makes a reappearance.
Oh, I'm so sure they do.
In 2007, Ja then accuses 50 of stealing his style in an interview on Hot 97. 2011, Ja goes to prison for 2 years. 2013, he comes out. Ja is on an interview on Hot 97 saying 50 won the beef. That he feels he lost the battle to 50 Cent.
Wow, prison really can create some rehabilitation and reflection.
I think later that same year, Ja then tweets, when him and 50 Cent happen to be on the same plane together, he tweets, quote, what are the chances me and 50 on the same flight, same row, no problems. # grown man shit. So people assume the feud is over.
Ja Rule's like, I'm a father now. And 50 Cent is like, I didn't even recognize him.
50 then disses Ja Rule the same year at Hot 97 Summer Jam by playing one of the diss tracks he had previously written about Ja Rule.
You know how much I love Ina Garten.
Yes.
But Ina Garten wishes she could cook the way 50 Cent does while on air at Hot 97.
It's insane.
And I'm sorry to our adult audience that I just used the word cook. I had a child come in, freshman, and this is like very weird. She goes, is it good to cook?
Yeah.
If someone else is cooked by you, is that a good thing? And we had to talk to them all about it. Oh, so funny. I love this job. I love tonight. I have no idea where we are in the story. I'm a little afraid that all of this is just preamble.
Oh,
but
no,
I'm
we're
here for it.
We're a little over halfway.
Oh, fun. Okay, cool.
You're good.
I'm like, and that's why tonight's topic is blank.
Yeah, no. So in sorry, we were just at 2013.
I really am living for this episode. You know me so well.
I know. 2013, so 2013, Ja says he won the beef. 2014, Ja accuses 50 of ratting him out to the police in his memoir, Unruly, The Highs and Lows of Becoming a Man.
Unruly by Ja Rule. The highs and lows of becoming a rule.
Yes. In 2017.
It's giving Jin.
2017, 50 Cent mocks Ja Rule for Firefest. Which
Wait,
you'll
was
remember.
50 Cent involved
No,
with Firefest?
Ja Rule was. Ja Rule was the co-founder and then promoted it on his social media.
I hope mocked Ja Rule for Firefest was just 50 Cent retweeting at him going, this you?
I think basically. So it should be noted that later, I think in 2019, Ja Rule was cleared of any wrongdoing, mostly because lawyers couldn't prove that his promotion on social media directly made people buy tickets.
They couldn't prove that Ja Rule knew how bad it was going to be.
Yes.
My favorite thing from Firefest, and other than the fact that we got 3 documentaries within a year, I mean, like American capitalist journalism will get the story.
I'm honestly, that's the one part of capitalism that I'm like, keep it going,
100%.
babes. Yeah.
The other part was from the actual Fire Festival, like attendees who kind of, I think, got what they deserved. Was a photo of the like luxury food they were being served. served.
Yes.
And the caption was like, this food's literally inedible. What's up? And it's like just a high-end version of the lunch we serve million of American school children every day. They're like, no human would ever put this in their mouth. And it's what we ask like 50 million American school children to eat before algebra.
Yes. Okay. So 50, I'm not sure on the year on this, 50 slams Ja for tying himself to a wooden column at a show in Miami.
Wait. Sorry. I need you to say that sentence again.
Yeah.
50 Cent slams Ja Rule
for tying himself to a wooden column at a show in Miami. He says, quote, "Look at this shithead. Is he supposed to be Jesus?" He posted that on Instagram.
So funny. And this is a life hack that I have not told the children yet because I'm trying to like walk within my own light and find peace and like devalue things. But I was for a couple years in a quiet secret feud with a different coach on the circuit that no one liked, but I didn't like him more than anyone else didn't like him. And it fueled me to excellence. And then he got fired for a crime, financial.
Yes.
Yes. I do think I lost a little bit of my edge. A nemesis is so good for your work life.
This is my favorite part of this story.
Okay, go ahead.
In 2018, the feud reignites.
2018?
Yeah,
Okay.
mostly on Twitter.
Wait, how long ago was Fire Festival?
That one
it's
was
okay. We'll figure it out later.
2017.
Okay.
So 2018, the feud reignites on Twitter. Ja Rule is going to have a concert in Arlington, Texas. And tickets are selling like surprisingly fast. Like, who even knows about Ja Rule?
Oh, wow.
Right?
Shut up.
So
Shut up.
Ja Rule shows up.
Shut up. Shut
50
your
Cent
mouth.
had purchased
Shut your mouth.
200 of the front row seats to his concert so that the seats would remain empty. He then photoshopped himself into one of those empty seats with a video of Ja performing to an empty crowd and then tweeted like, "Fucking great show."
That's so beyond petty. That's like, hey, like there, like, do you know how bad cyberbullying has to be for a modern American school teacher to be like, hey, you got to take that down a notch? Like, you have really kind of keyed into something, but you got to kind of not do that anymore. That's so funny.
Here's the best thing. He spent $3,000 on this to buy 200 tickets.
Wait, it only cost $3,000?
They're like trying to get Ja Rule's career back up. The tickets were $15 each on Groupon.
This man's legitimately trying to feed his family. And 50 cents, like, the $3,000 I'm about to give you is, like, not worth the humiliation you are about to experience. Are there people there?
Yeah, there are other
That is not in the front row.
In the front, like 4 rows.
Okay, years ago. I'm sorry, this is such a
No,
weird
you're
niche
good.
thing to say. Years ago, the National Speech and Debate Tournament was hosted in a city. And that's great. It's a smaller city, and that's okay too. And they hosted the final round in this like gorgeous, like 5,000 seat amphitheater, right? And like this is a big deal for our association. These performances get like recorded, and then they get used as teaching tools. And like the kids that make it to these finals and their coaches become very much micro celebrities in our micro community.
Right.
But it's like a big deal.
Yeah.
And that year, they hadn't tested out the camera angles before they designated the reserved VIP seating, which is one of the perks of being like a sponsor of the national tournament. So there's a year in which it looks like these kids are performing to nobody. And then they'll like hit a line or something, and then just the ghosts of the theater will laugh, but you can't see. And it's not like a sports tournament where there's like crowd shots or anything.
Yeah.
It's like a couple of fixed camera positions, and the front row is just empty. Like the first couple rows, completely empty. Like here's how empty it was. I saw the videos and was so confused why that year no one went to go watch national finals. My friends who were, because I was so young in my coaching career, my friends who qualified kids had to tell me later. I hate that, but I love that. That's so funny.
Yes. Okay.
And $3,000 and on Groupon, which means you had to buy them all at once.
I found the Groupon
and that should
listing
make
today
you
in
really.
my research. It said like deal is no longer available.
I'm sorry. Actually, one more thing. I do need to say one more thing. I'm sorry. I'm on a second level right now. I think this is a millennial thing. Back from when there was like a home desktop computer.
Right.
But I'm a believer that big purchases require a big screen. Like, I would
agree.
never purchase plane tickets on my phone.
Oh.
It would always be on a
that's fair.
laptop.
I can't do it on my phone either.
And so someone tweeted that the other day when I was reading the election polls. Someone tweeted that, and someone retweeted that tweet and was like, "Hey, just so you know, you really should do this. I accidentally purchased all seats to a comedy show at like Edinburgh's Fringe Fest, and so instead of paying like $30, I paid like almost $1,000, and they refused to refund me, and that was shitty. But then the comedian came out to what they thought was a sold out show, and instead it's like 3 people.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's just moments in human history where you're like, no one will ever be able to recreate that. Like, I need to know what's going on.
So good.
Show me the video you have for me.
Okay. So now is the time that I have to confess that I got the idea for this entire episode from a TikTok.
That's where all of our best stuff comes from.
So
I have a couple of new notes in my phone that I'm so excited
The way
to
I had to
explore.
fight myself to not send this to you.
I have a Patreon comment for later. It has to do with cats.
Oh,
Continue.
hell yeah. Okay. So this is Josh Johnson. He's a stand-up comedian, but he's also a contributor on The Daily Show.
I think I've seen some of his stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a correspondent on The Daily Show. And I'm just going to show you the like opening bit. He has 3 parts on specifically on this. My next feud is going to be P. Diddy. Just so you know.
Okay. So this is the transition.
Yeah.
I need to be able to see
One of
it
the
too.
wildest things to me about Diddy, right, is that he made an enemy a long time ago in a man named 50 Cent.
Can you pause it for 10 seconds? If you've ever been impressed by what we do, just know that most of what Maya and I do is at 1 a.m. we're doom scrolling, and
then we find something funny.
Makes us laugh so hard we actually have to get out of bed to pee a little bit.
Yeah.
At least I do, because I'm over 30 now.
Yes.
And then when we come back to bed, we go, "That was so funny. I better assign myself 15 hours of deep academic research."
It was like
so
all yesterday and like most of today.
Like the topic that I'm doing for this, which we're recording, less than 48 hours. Like I love, and I am in it.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay.
Continue.
No, I don't think anybody felt, more vindicated that was on the outer edges of Diddy's sphere than 50 Cent. 50 Cent had hated that dude for years. And look, 50 Cent isn't the one. Don't mess with 50 Cent, because not only is he funny, which is already dangerous, he's so funny that you can tell he a natural bully.
It's Grant.
Oh, yeah. Pause again. I just kind of, before coffee, after our Halloween party, kind of just openly shared my thoughts on one of our acquaintances. And it got you all laughing so much that you guys were like, I wished Grant were meaner. More regularly.
Yes. Okay.
Dangerous. He's so funny that you can tell he a natural bully. You ever been bullied by somebody and then went and tell people what they did, and the people you told were like, that is funny. I know it's wrong, but that was pretty good. Like, because we're not talking even about bullying in the terms of violence. I'm talking about bullying in like waiting for you to get real excited about something and then
like the Ja Rule concert.
Okay. 50 Cent.
Yeah, this is where he introduces the Ja Rule thing.
He couldn't stand a dude named Ja Rule.
That's what he talks about, Ja Rule.
So that one TikTok, you were like, this must be
This
shared.
has to be a whole story.
We're about
now.
to do 3.5 hours on that TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
People keep being like, we love your long episodes. And you and I are just like, sweet, let's go ahead and let the dog off the leash. Nothing holding us back now.
Okay, so
Also do a tight 90 sometimes, but
yeah,
this
sometimes
is great.
this is good. So P. Diddy, who is P. Diddy? Let's talk about it. If
Wait,
you're
hold on.
not,
So is that just the death of Ja Rule?
oh yeah,
Final chapter, the birth of P. Diddy?
no. Ja Rule started way earlier.
Okay.
But that's like I went over a bunch of his feuds with random
Yeah.
rap stars,
Oh,
and
I
then
followed
Ja
all that,
Rule.
yes.
Ja Rule is like where you really see how like 50 Cent will hate you, and it don't matter if you're like, yeah, you won, yeah, I'm sorry, like, yeah, you right. 50 Cent is like, no. It's not over until you over.
It's giving, I've killed every Philip I have found on the ocean.
Yes, exactly. So 50 Cent's hate is like pure and unadulterated, right?
Only us in this
Yes.
setting could draw a comparison between 800 like CE French nobility warfare and 50 Cent's treatment of fellow rappers.
Fellow rappers. So P. Diddy, I will warn you, there are going to be moments where we're talking about P. Diddy. If you're not caught up in the news, or if like maybe you're listening to this in like years from now, P. Diddy just very recently got arrested for his crimes.
Right.
And so there's a lot of sex trafficking involved. The first thing I'm going to talk about is P. Diddy's come up, and then I'm going to talk about the feud between how P. Diddy and 50 Cent started hating each other. And then I'm going to talk about the crimes really pretty briefly, because I think there's other sources out there for you to find the crimes from. But then I'm going to talk about how 50 Cent really came out on top.
And just so y'all know, before this next big section,
Yeah.
I know so little.
This is the thing that he
about
knew I was going to talk about.
What P.
Yeah.
Diddy has done.
Yeah.
Essentially, my barber said something along the lines of like, well, you know, wouldn't want to be da-da-da-da-da-da with P. Diddy. And I was like, oh yeah, he's in the news lately. What's going on with that? And then I just got the strangest reading of apparently news.
Yeah.
Validity to be determined, but also a really solid shave. So
That's all that really matters.
You know, listen, if I can break ham with some of my cousins over Thanksgiving,
God.
I can let my barber, in between tales of us hooking up with different people, tell me a wild conspiracy theory.
Amazing.
I would say that's wild. A lot of people are gonna have a lot of reactions to that, but I've been asked by my barber to stop talking so much during my shaves, so I stop eating so much of my beard hair.
I mean,
It's an area of growth.
yeah.
My
Okay.
beard and not talking during my beard trims, both areas of growth.
So P. Diddy, who is
Right.
he? He
She's
was
done with
born
my jokes.
November 4th, 1969. He is from Harlem and was raised alongside his sister and his single mother. His father was murdered in 1974.
A single mom
who
who
works
works two
two
jobs,
jobs.
who loves her kids, and one of them's P. Diddy.
So allegedly, I'm not sure how true this is or if it's just a legend that he kind of spread. When he was young, he had a paper route, and somehow he eventually kind of consolidated several paper routes and then convinced other kids in his neighborhood to run those paper routes for him and then like kind of give him some of that money. So he's an entrepreneur, I guess. He did attend Catholic boys' school in Mount Vernon, New York. He got a degree in business administration from Howard University, but he dropped out. So
Wait, hold on. So he was working towards a degree in business administration.
but he
get
dropped
it,
out.
though. Okay.
Yeah, he dropped out to do the next thing. So Sean Combs, a.k.a. P. Diddy, a.k.a. Puff, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, became an intern at Uptown Records, where he gets mentored by a man named Andre Harrell. He gets the nickname Puff in high school because he had a tendency to puff out his chest to make himself seem bigger.
No.
Yeah. He was practically Andre's son at Uptown Records. He would then soon become an A&R man. An A&R man is a person who essentially finds and supports new artists for their record label.
So he's not even a producer or like a musician himself. He's like in the business.
I think he might be rapping at this point. I'm not
Okay.
sure, but he is primarily an A&R man. The first artist he brings up is Mary J. Blige.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So if you don't know who Mary J. Blige is, this is one of her more famous songs after the Call of Duty ad.
This is Call of Duty.
Innovation in this dancery. Contemplating.
So that is Family Affair by
God,
Mary J. Blige.
The amount of times I have absolutely danced to it in gay bars to that song.
Let me pull up the
Fantastic.
next video so that the ad can play really quick. Oh, maybe it's not going to play. That's cool.
Maya, maybe cut this.
No, it's fine. After he finds Mary J. Blige and maybe a few other things, he starts to become kind of notorious in his own right. And so Andre says, quote, "There can only be one lion in the jungle," and fires him from Uptown Records.
Wait, say that again?
He says there can only be one
who says
lion.
that?
Andre, so his boss of Uptown Records. He says there can
It's like, you're too good, get out of here.
Good, get out.
What a crazy confidence boost to give somebody.
Yes, and so he fires him. Andre,
like he's now desperate, but like validated that he can do this.
Andre
Yikes.
does, I think, kind of give him his blessing and like, you can operate like outside of me, but I just can't have you in my same record label. He gives him 2 rappers that he does not know what to do with at the time. One is named Craig Mack, and the other is Biggie Smalls.
Oh.
AKA the Notorious Big.
Yeah, B.I.G.
Yeah, so this is one of his top songs. Oh. See if I can find that part.
A lot of helicopter noise so far.
Yeah, there are.
Is that a Tom Cruise movie? What is this? Oh, yeah, that was right there.
Yeah. So that's called Hypnotized by the Notorious B.I.G. A really quick random note. I was putting in all these YouTube links.
That song is like the background song for NBA 2K.
Yeah.
For those of you who play PlayStation.
Yeah.
FYI.
So I put in the link for Mary J. Blige. I put in the link for the Notorious Big. And then I like looked up Craig Mack because I like didn't recognize the name. So obviously, you know.
And he sells State Farm Insurance in Modesto, California.
Somehow worse.
Okay. Oh no. Worse than Modesto, California.
Well, he's no longer alive.
Oh, okay. So that is worse.
Yeah, it is worse.
On the margins. I'm kidding. Modesto's a great place.
So the Notorious B.I.G. died. You know this, correct?
Sure. Yep.
He was killed in a drive-by shooting in 1997.
Same time that Tupac died? No. Okay, gotcha.
I don't know. I don't think so. Tupac did not make any appearance in this, so I did not do any of that fact checking.
About 2 hours ago, I want you to
now
read
I feel
this
like
note.
I need to look.
About 2 hours ago, I wrote this note. Tupac dies? Question mark. I was like, is that what the theme of this episode is?
Tupac died in 1996.
I was not entirely sure you weren't about to do a Tupac episode, so I locked in my answer early on.
I'm so happy with you.
What, that I'm listening?
No, that you're like, you were so there. Okay, Tupac died in 1996. Sorry. The Notorious B.I.G. was killed in a drive-by shooting in March of 1997. Craig Mack also dies. He dies in March of 2018. After leaving the music industry, I don't think he had as great of a career as some of these other artists. He devoted his life to a self-proclaimed last-day prophet who believed barcodes bore the mark of the beast and World War III was imminent, which sounds like a
conspiracy theory
or a cult, but yeah, isn't that insane? Anyway, he's gone now.
Wow.
Yeah. So in 1993, P. Diddy, aka Sean Combs, starts Bad Boy Records. By 1994, he is a household name, and it's considered in the industry that he has something. He has the Midas touch. That anything he touch will become
He's got
famous.
the juice,
yes, exactly. He releases More Money, More Problems, and Ain't Nobody Hold Me Down. In 2000, the music business starts to crater. Diddy has a brand, and so he decides to start to transform this brand more out of music and more into lifestyle, more into specifically a lifestyle of partying and success. So he's asking himself, how can I transition the brand that I've created into other things? All in all, this is a great marketing strategy for him. This keeps him alive. Bad Boy Records, he then is able to, from Bad Boy Records, his music platform, he is then able to open Sean John, which is a fashion company. I think he also produces clothing and cologne and stuff like that. And then he also goes into a Diageo deal with Ciroc vodka.
Oh, hell yeah.
So he represents / owns part of Ciroc vodka. basically the thing is, you listen to my music, you drink what I drink, you wear what I wear, you can be like me, you can have this kinds of success.
Also feels like a cult.
Yes, a little bit.
Also, real quick, 2015 is when I graduated from college, and we were drinking just the worst kind of spirits imaginable.
Yes.
And then for our graduation, a friend who was a year younger bought us a bottle of Ciroc vodka, which was like $38 at the time.
Expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially in 2015, $38 is like not a small sum of money.
Yeah.
Like we are oftentimes buying bottles of vodka in single digit prices. And so we're like, we don't know if we can accept this
I don't know if
from
I can
you.
drink this. Yeah.
Had a great time that night.
Yes. I
It's
get
a-
that.
yeah.
So Sean Diddy also has, Sean aka Diddy also has a reality show following his life called Making the Band. He also like maybe does a documentary. He does a movie.
I feel like I've heard about Making the Band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. He does one with Russell Crowe. He does a movie with Russell Crowe. He's one of the first big media moguls. He also dates a lot of celebrities like J-Lo. They together create or release a song called Been Around the World.
And so far, he's not in a feud with 50 Cent so far of what you told me.
They're going to be in they are in a feud. I just haven't covered the feud yet.
Okay.
As his career progresses, he begins throwing these all-white parties at his house in the Hamptons. These parties become legendary in the hip-hop industry. Basically, you literally wear all white, and it kind of recreates this idea of this party. And eventually, especially the after party becomes famous, and then the after party becomes famous because it is
Final boss. Yeah, absolutely.
incredibly debauched. So I need to go pee.
Ooh,
So we're going to take a quick break.
I love that.
And then we will talk about the feud. So the feud.
Yes.
50 Cent hates Diddy.
When? When does this start?
We'll talk about it.
Is it hate for his personality or hate for his success?
Yes.
Good. Because sometimes you hate a person and you're like, are they successful or is it their being? And then you think about it for a second and you realize you're actually at least just as successful, if not more so. And you're like, oh, thank God, it's their personality that I despise.
Yes. So 50 Cent hates Diddy on the personal level, the business level, the petty level, all of it.
And he's always said that.
And he's always said that. 50 Cent hates P. Diddy. So in April, we're going to go back to the origin of the feud in a second. But in April of 2024, Diddy is seen by paparazzi or whatever, riding his bike through like Los Angeles or something. And 50 Cent's comments on that saying, "Smile, bitch. You know there ain't no seat on that bike, right?"
Again, I'm reminded of Josh Johnson's comment.
Yeah.
You ever get burned so bad that even your friends are like, that was a legitimately funny comment that they made?
That was pretty funny. So 50 Cent makes a lot of comments about Diddy probably being gay.
Okay.
Probably due to a lot of circumstantial evidence that 50 Cent has experienced. Maybe.
Okay.
And maybe some internalized homophobia from 50 Cent. But a lot of it is not wrong as we know now.
Okay.
From what has come out about P. Diddy. So with that, let's get into the feud, and we can talk about the crimes later.
You're like, stay with us.
Stay with us.
You made fun of me for that the first couple times I said it.
Oh,
but
and now
it's a
I won't
helpful
stop
thing to
saying
say.
it. Yeah.
Stay with us.
In the 1990s, 50 Cent and Diddy are kind of coming up around the same time in the hip hop industry. They're encouraged to work together to boost both of their careers.
Sure. Pimps, etc.
Yeah. Pimps, etc. You know. It's like Toys R Us, Pimps, etc.
A fucking cartoon giraffe just popping up above their shoulder.
Yeah.
Good.
Like a cigarette and like a hat.
In my hometown, they took the first Toys R Us that town got, which was like kind of a big deal. It was the only time we ever went into the north side of town as South Lincolners. So Toys R Us is gone completely. Do you know what they turned that store
Blockbuster.
into? No.
Oh no.
Even better.
Oh God, what?
Liquors R Us.
Hell.
And it's just a different picture of a giraffe as their logo.
I love that.
Because
I love that so much.
because Toys R Us doesn't exist anymore. Those can't
Sue, yeah. Oh, that's good.
It's just a giant warehouse for like specific spirits and liquors.
I love that.
I do.
10 out of 10. Okay.
I like legitimately got bikes from there, and you can now get Ciroc 50 cents vodka or P. Diddy's vodka from it. Sorry, continue.
50 Cent has a different vodka. You can't say that.
Sorry.
Yeah, God forbid.
One of them endorse us and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Not endorse us. Sponsor us?
Sponsor.
Give us a lot of money. Roughly $100 million.
So, 50 Cent is a ghostwriter on P. Diddy's 2001 Let's Get It.
Okay.
And at this point, P. Diddy is dating J-Lo at the time. This song, Let's Get It, becomes a top 5 rap hit.
Okay.
Although they worked together, 50 Cent said that they weren't friends. Here's a series of quotes from 50 Cent about this. Quote, I wouldn't call it a friendship because there wouldn't be disappointment between us if we didn't speak to each other.
Oh. And he said what he said, and it was the whole truth.
And then he said, I didn't ever party or hang out with him. He also says that Diddy was the business person who would take credit for tracks he didn't necessarily produce. In 2006, 50 Cent releases a diss track called The Bomb. In it, he accuses Diddy of having something to do with the 1997 murder of Notorious B.I.G.
Oh.
Diddy denies this.
These are not light accusations, for the record. They're not, haha, who's J. Rule? I bought all the tickets at his concert.
No,
it's like
these are
convicted felony murder.
So Diddy denies this, as well as any similar accusations that he had something to do with the death of Tupac in 1996. Here is a quote from The Bomb.
Tupac dies? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Timestamp 8:05 p.m.
So in The Bomb, 50 Cent, one of 50 Cent's lyrics, quote, who shot Biggie Smalls? We don't get 'em. They gon' kill us all, man. Puffy knows who hit that N-word. Puffy being P. Diddy. Since this particular feud in 2006, they've gone back and forth with diss tracks and other things. Specifically, both have/represent rival vodka brands. Diddy is the face of
American capitalism won't stop it.
Exactly. They're all lifestyle now. So Diddy was the face of Diageo Ciroc vodka as of 2007, and he continued working for them until January of 2024 when Diddy filed a lawsuit alleging racism against the brand. In 2016.
Like from the brand towards him?
No, Diddy filed it against the brand.
Okay.
Not sure how true that is given the rest of the stuff that Diddy does.
Right.
But I don't necessarily not believe it, I guess. In 2016, 50 Cent partners with Effin Vodka, and he ends up selling his shares a year later for $60 million, but he will continue to compare it to the deal Diddy had with Ciroc Vodka. In 2018, 50 Cent says, quote, Puffs is not even vodka. It's grapes, and says made with vodka. You know what I'm saying? Effin is made from wheat from Holland and distilled 5 times with a lot less sugar, and it's the right way. And
when
then,
you truly hate someone so much, you learn how vodka is made.
Yeah. And then later when you have a headache because you finished your full bottle of Ciroc, I told you I was smarter.
I have never hated someone so much I learned chemistry, but I understand the motive.
That's like really the theme of this. I've never hated someone so much I blank. So 50 Cent also then says later, Diddy makes him feel uncomfortable in a lot of their interactions.
I'm prepared for you to say P. Diddy stuck the Evergreen in the Suez Canal to ruin like a 50 Cent like compression sock deal. I'm prepared for you to be like P. Diddy is behind climate change to ruin the wheat fields 50 Cent's vodka comes from. Yes, 100%.
Yes. So 50 Cent also
God,
says...
I hope that's the answer to climate change. We just get P. Diddy.
P. Diddy to fix it. So P. Diddy also made 50 Cent feel uncomfortable when he said he would take 50 Cent shopping a few years back.
What?
Yeah.
P. Diddy was like, I'd love to spend some time with us socially.
Pretty sure this might be where the feud originated from. And then 50 Cent just like really took it all the way. So
P. Diddy is like, hey, I like your vibe. Maybe we should go shopping sometime. We have similar fashion sense. And 50 Cent was like, he thinks I dress bad, or worse, that I want to dress like him. I must ruin his life.
So he said, 50 Cent said, quote, he asked to take me shopping. I thought that was the weirdest shit in the world because that might be something that a man says to a woman. And I'm just like, nah, I'm not fucking with this weird energy or weird shit coming off the way he was just moving. From that, I wasn't comfortable around him.
Here's the joy of going out with Lydia.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I want you to go ahead and pick something you could buy at a store, Maya.
A flower.
Okay. Now give me one reason as to why you shouldn't. You're playing Lydia. So tell me one reason
shouldn't buy it?
You should not buy the flower.
It looks like it's dying.
Okay, but it looks pretty right now. You're right, I should get it. That is every time I shop with Lydia. It's like Jacob refuses to ever support her. And I was like, but it's literally matching the top you're wearing right now. And what
it
if
makes your eyes pop.
And what if we got this jacket to go along with it? And Lydia was like, oh my God, scrap everything. I don't want the flower anymore. I actually only want the jacket. Dear listener, the jacket's 8 times as expensive. Like, and then I'm like, good, excellent. I'm such a bad influence. And then I turn around and I see like an expensive hat. And I'm like, whoa, now we're both getting something. Yeah.
A bandana.
No one ever talks about the absolute life hack, which is being a little chubby and financially stable. It's so good.
I mean, and to be someone's husband.
I love saying that line though, like a little chubby and financially stable. I love saying that around young people because they use the word fat is actually the last slur that you don't use in school. And so they all get like really tense for a second, but tense in a way it's like, how long has he known?
Do we have to tell him?
Yeah. They love it when bald people tell bald jokes. They get really freaked out when chubby people say chubby jokes. Absolutely.
I get it. Okay. 2018.
Oh, right. We're talking about rappers.
Yeah. So
just completely spiraled.
In 2018, despite the entire feud, Diddy still says in another interview, I think actually it's either on Hot 97 or on The Breakfast Club.
It's on Hot 97. That's the only station that exists in my world. It really might be on The Breakfast Club.
I'm sorry. With Charlemagne the God.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes. That 50 Cent quote, loves me. Here's a quote from Diddy. Quote, y'all can't see that he loves me? Y'all really think that's hate? You know that he loves me. Me and him could be friends, but he doesn't want to be my friend. I want to be his friend so I could teach him everything I know so that he could become a better money getter since I'm the #1 money getter in the world. Yo, Fiddy, please be my friend. Fiddy, you're breaking my heart. Curtis, please be my friend. Please.
Not the government name at the end.
So that's like 3 separate quotes, bro, that I just kind of smashed together, but you get the idea of the entire interview. Yeah. If someone ever hates you so much that you're like, you love me. So these next sections, the next 2 are about P. Diddy's crimes. So,
okay.
So we're going to be a little serious. I'm going to try and kind of breeze through it a little bit. Grant, we're going to breeze through it a little bit.
Yeah, right? I heard it the first time, Mom. God, can't take me anywhere.
So this is really just Diddy getting caught. I'm not going to go into a lot of the nitty-gritty details of P. Diddy's crimes because I think a lot of the details aren't out there still yet. Obviously, he just got arrested like last month. And so I think most of the details are going to come out in his trial. And so I think it's a little pointless to go through everything that we believe he's done from here on out. I think a lot of that will come out in the trial. So Diddy getting caught. Obviously, trigger warning. We're going to talk about, for the next maybe like 5 minutes, some accusations of sexual assault. So November of 2023, Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, accuses him of rape and sexual assault over the course of several years. Diddy denies it, and they end up settling the lawsuit the next day. The details of this settlement are super unclear. His attorney says, quote, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is no way an admission of wrongdoing. He then continues saying Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He is happy they got a mutual settlement and wishes Miss Ventura the best. Cassie's attorney says in response to an apology video that Combs releases later on, saying, quote, when Cassie and multiple other women came forward, he denied everything and suggested that his victims were looking for a payday. So in the apology video that he releases, I actually think I have the timelines a bit messed up here. The apology video he releases will come in like May of 2024. The wording of his apology is very self-oriented, as in like, I was going through rock bottom. The situation was very hard for me and my family. Like it wasn't ever, I fucked up and like fully taking accountability. It was like, I'm taking accountability, but you know, like I was going through this kind of thing. So following Cassie's lawsuit, many more accusations appeared from both men and women, and the time frames show that the crimes had been ongoing for about 30 years. In analyzing the accusations, it appears that everything before 2005, it was pretty equally split between men and women.
Before what year?
2005.
Okay.
And then after 2005, it was almost 90 to 95% men. Andrew Van Arsdale, who's an attorney, I believe, for the state, said, quote, "We've had over 14,000 people contact our office in 3 weeks, and now we represent 293 claims against Sean Combs or his associates. The youngest victims," and another trigger warning, the youngest victims being 9 and 14 years old. There are more claims expected to be coming in until basically the end of the trial. March 25th of 2024, P. Diddy's 2 homes are raided by the Department of Homeland Security. 50 Cent tweets he believes that whatever P. Diddy has been accused of is true. He says, quote, "Now it's not Diddy Do It, it's Diddy Done. They didn't come like that unless they got a case."
Jesus. Like, that is actually great wording, but it's hard to hear.
It's really hard to hear.
2 sentences after what you told me he's accused of.
At his home, they find 15 AR-15s, I believe. A number of them, if not all of them, had their serial numbers like wiped clean, which is illegal in the United States. They also found narcotics and 1,000 bottles of baby oil and other kinds of lubricants. It will be revealed later that he had been using these lubricants laced with date rape drugs.
Like in the oil?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is following nearly 30 years of allegations. Up until now, his power in the industry has protected him from answering for his crimes. For example, in 1990, he was involved in a shooting where 3 people were injured and he was acquitted for like no apparent reason. In May, this is probably the biggest trigger warning I'm going to issue. This is in relation to domestic violence, probably for the next 5 minutes. May 19th of 2024, CNN released a security video that matches the description that Cassie Ventura had mentioned in her lawsuit against P. Diddy. It mentions it is a video evidence of the 2016 incident between Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura that occurred on March 5th, 2016. The video is really difficult to watch. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay. Just so that we can talk about it, I'm going to have you watch it. I'm not going to put it on the screen for people. Here is the CNN footage.
The video, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs' assault
It's hotel footage.
girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day referenced actions that seem to match those seen in this video. There is no audio. According to the complaint, Combs became extremely
So in the video, it's actually quite long. Like you can watch the whole thing. You can watch P. Diddy kind of leaving his hotel room, and essentially
it's violent and it's in the morning.
Yes.
I won't say anything else, but like those 2 facts stand out to me especially.
Mm-hmm. So again, trigger warning if you don't want to hear the specific details. You can see Cassie is thrown to the ground as she's like trying to pick up a bag. She's kicked multiple times and then she's dragged, I think, back from the hallway into the hotel room. Things are thrown at her, etc. End of that particular trigger warning. This is a quote from Cassie in reference to that video. She breaks her silence after maybe, I think, less than 10 days. She says, "My only ask is that everyone open your heart to believing victims the first time. It takes a lot of heart to tell the truth out of a situation that you were powerless in. I offer my hand to those that are still living in fear. Reach out to your people. Don't cut them off. No one should carry this weight alone. This healing journey is never ending, but this support means everything to me." 50 Cent, in response to seeing the video, he says, "First, he denied that it even happened. And then the tape comes out, so that means everything that N-word says is a lie. When everyone watches that, if they have a daughter and they can imagine her being under those circumstances, that shit is crazy. Like, they let him get away with it." Because you remember, the lawsuit is already settled.
Yeah.
So, like, despite that coming out, I mean...
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter anymore. I mean, I'm sure it'll matter in court cases. And
sure.
Like,
it's evidence you can introduce for other things to show a pattern of behavior.
For Cassie.
Right.
Yes.
Pause for 10 seconds for me.
Yes. Go. September 1st of 2024, Diddy is arrested in New York. Allegedly, according to his lawyer, the raids on Diddy's homes were scary for his children. So he didn't want something so scary to happen again. So he relocated to New York allegedly to turn himself in. But I guess there's some like weird law thing that if you turn yourself in, they can't hold you for detention. And so when he came back to New York, they made sure to still arrest him because they felt he was a flight risk and they wanted to be able to hold him for detention. But he says he did it so that it wouldn't be as scary on his kids again, so that arrest would be easy. Everyone would know where he is. He has 7 kids, P. Diddy. He has 3 adult sons and 4 daughters. The 3 sons so far are in support of Sean Combs. Sean Combs pleads not guilty and is denied bail twice on appeal. The judge thinks that he's a flight risk and a danger to those around him. According to a United States attorney who is from the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams, he says, quote, "The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women for years and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used, trigger warning, force, threats of violence, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performance with male commercial sex workers. Combs allegedly planned and controlled these sex performances, which he called, quote, freak-offs." Another trigger warning, what is a freak-off? Again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail over this, just like really quick kind of bullet points. What is a freak off? Essentially having sex worker or workers have sex with his friend or friend in quotation marks or whoever while he watches and or participates. He would bring in lighting and cameras, and the entire thing would be filmed. Sometimes it would last for days on end. Hotel rooms would be destroyed. Linens would need to be replaced entirely. Furniture would sometimes need to be replaced. And the sex workers and often the people that he had the sex workers engage with would have no choice in these matters. And the freak-offs would last so long that recovery would take IV drips. That is the end of that trigger warning. Now we're going to talk about the claims or the charges against P. Diddy. He's charged with 3 things: racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation for the purpose of prostitution. Prosecutors are calling him the leader of, quote, this criminal enterprise to subject women to a pattern of physical and sexual abuse. And then also the racketeering charge is multi-layered. It involves kidnapping, forced labor, and bribing of witnesses. And the judge was worried he will be tampering with witnesses, which is another reason he was denied bail twice on appeal. Because after the initial Cassie Ventura lawsuit dropped in November of 2023, he began reaching out to other known victims, kind of blackmailing.
P. Diddy did?
Yeah, to threaten their violence. Yeah. And so now, another reason I'm not going to go into this is that I think there's probably a lot of other individuals that are involved in this that are probably going to be facing charges within the next couple of years that I don't really want to speculate in. It's a kind of a Jeffrey Epstein thing where like that list that Jeffrey Epstein released is like, could be people that were involved in the sexual crimes, could be people that like accepted private plane rides, could be people that were conspiracy or like conspiring with him. It could be a Ghislaine Maxwell type people. We don't know who is who yet in this whole scheme. And so I'm not going to go into a lot of the depths of this. I do think if there are any like, I don't know, celebrities that you know of that were close with P. Diddy, I would maybe be wary of them, maybe until the trial ends. Specifically, 50 Cent. When he's asked...
What?
No. Like, referring to celebrities that could have. When 50 Cent was asked, did you ever go to any of P. Diddy's parties? He said, I've been very vocal about not going to Puffy's parties and doing shit like that. I've been staying out of that shit for years. It's an uncomfortable energy connected to it. It's not uncomfortable for me to say what I said because I've been saying this shit for 4 years, 5 years. I've been telling you, I don't fuck with him. I don't like the way he moves.
So 50 Cent
for about a decade now
has been saying P. Diddy is
not it.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to quickly talk about Cassie because I think her story is important to tell. Her full name is Cassandra Elizabeth Ventura. Her like kind of stage name, quote unquote, is Cassie. She was born August 26th, 1986 in Connecticut. Her mother is of African American Mexican and West Indian descent, and her father is Filipino. And if you're like, I have no idea what this person looks like, here she is. She's beautiful.
Oh, the world's best hair.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, and like probably the world's best skin,
Like
too.
all hair is beautiful, obviously coming from a bald person, but like that's just legitimately good hair.
Oh, yeah, she's just, in every picture I've seen of her, I'm like, okay, yep.
God gave with both hands and then a couple others. Yep.
So Cassie is a singer, dancer, actress, and model. Her musical career began in 2004 when Ryan Leslie signed her to his label, Next Selection Lifestyle Group. She was then discovered by Sean Combs and signed to his label, Bad Boy Records, where she released her 2006 debut, Me and You, which would be one of two of her top songs that would make it to the Billboard Hot 100. Me and You would peak at number 3. For modeling, she signed early on with Wilhelmina Models and then to One Management, and has modeled for Calvin Klein, GQ, 17, ASOS. She's also appeared in films like Step Up 2 and The Perfect Match. In bad news, she had one of the worst live performances broadcast on TV on 106 and Park BET's Top 10 Live. It was just I saw a clip of it and I was like, I can't watch the rest of this.
It's like uncomfortable to watch.
It's uncomfortable to watch, yeah.
That's devastating.
Yeah. So Diddy defends her in a video after her performance saying like, yo, we all have bad moments. Shortly after that,
it's bad when even your boyfriend's like, yeah, it was bad, but who hasn't been bad?
Yeah. Well, before this, they were not in a romantic relationship.
Oh.
After this, they are in a romantic relationship.
Oh.
And if you're thinking you're correct. He is 37 and she's 19.
Oh.
And he's also her boss. Tiffany Red is, so one of my sources was a 2020 docuseries episode called The Secret Life of Diddy, I believe. And so they interviewed Tiffany Red in this docuseries episode, who Tiffany is a producer and also started writing for Cassie in 2015. And in this sense, she's dating Diddy. And so when she's writing for Cassie, that means she's writing songs about Diddy on Cassie's behalf from like the public point of view.
Sure.
At an event, Diddy, Sean Combs, approaches Tiffany and says, you're the one who's been writing all those songs about me. And she says, yeah. And he says, so she's talking to you, huh? And she says, yeah. And obviously it seemed like he wasn't happy that she was talking to Tiffany.
Oh.
So we start seeing less and less music from Cassie, and she starts appearing more and more just as Diddy's girlfriend instead of her own independent artist. More and more rumors start emerging about Sean Combs' behavior, things like inappropriate behavior, flying into rages, rumors of abuse, specifically rumors that he's being violent towards Cassie in the background. In one particular incident, Tiffany overhears Sean's verbal abuse towards Cassie over the phone, and she kind of asks like, hey, why don't you leave him? And Cassie responds like, what can I do? Like, he has connections in the entertainment world. He could ruin my career. He literally has the key to the city, which, by the way, he had to return very recently.
Oh.
Per like Mayor Adams, I think.
New York or LA?
New York.
Yeah,
I think.
Adams.
Yeah. Okay. Cassie was working on the same album for 10 years and there was never a release date set. Oh. So he was using it as a way to control Cassie.
Yeah.
According to her, he was only ever willing to talk about her music during freak-offs that she had to be involved in. And I'm not going to go into the details of Cassie's personal abuse. I think that's something that you can find if you're interested in. It seems like it's relatively obvious at this point what she was kind of forced to do. In 2018, she does break up with him. 5 years later, she files a lawsuit, and this becomes a huge deal because this is one of the first times someone stands up to him on like a big public level.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to R. Kelly. So a woman that's interviewed in the 2020 docuseries episode, Lizette Martinez, she is referred to as Jane Doe number 9 in the court case. She's an R. Kelly victim. She met Sean Combs in the 90s in Miami, and right off the bat, she noticed a lot of the same tendencies between Sean Combs and R. Kelly. She spoke to a lot of the other victims of R. Kelly, and they are all deeply saddened by the case, and the video of Cassie haunts all of them. She thinks that Cassie is brave for allowing other victims to find their voice and put herself on the line, and she says, quote, I hope that powerful men understand that time is up. Amy Dubois Barnett, who is a former editor-in-chief of Ebony Media, says, quote, myself and other women shared stories of the various ways we were approached. We talked about the misogyny in the industry. Jamila Leminou, who is a cultural critic and writer, says, quote, the way women are talked about in the hip-hop industry is so vile. It's so hateful, as though women are things to be used and consumed. And that's not to say there isn't predatory behavior going on in rock or country and other genres of music, but like hip-hop is just open about its hatred for women in ways that other genres of music are not. In 2019, in lighter news, Cassie Ventura married her now husband, Alex Fine, and he is fine.
Good for her.
They married in an intimate ceremony in Malibu. She is now 38 and Fine is 31. Good for her. They have two daughters together, Frankie and Sunny, as well as a dog named French Fry.
Oh, that's actually really cute.
Yeah. Per her social media, they seem very happy together. They have a lot of impromptu dance parties and have a lot of pop culture costumes. On Alex's birthday this past year of 2024, she wrote, quote, there's literally nothing like spending time with my 3 best friends. I have to pinch myself every day. On their 4th wedding anniversary, she posted photos with the caption, quote, there's no one like you in this world. You have the biggest heart and the funniest sense of humor. Your curiosity about life still surprises me and warms my heart every day. I grow more and more and more and more and more in love with you as time goes on, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Most important of all, you're the only person that can actually make me laugh until I pee my pants. That says a lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's just...
It's very sweet.
Very sweet.
Meanwhile, Sean Combs is in a metropolitan detention center, which is notoriously dangerous and a brutal place to be. So justice comes for some people. Back to 50 Cent.
Right. The origin of today's episode.
Yeah. There's a lot involving P. Diddy's crimes that I won't get into. I'm sure more will be revealed.
This is a quote from 50 Cent now.
This is my quote.
Okay.
More will be revealed as we get closer to the trial and also as we get closer to the next thing I'm about to talk about. There are allegations of potential murder, payoffs for cover-ups, other celebrities who are getting dragged down with him, and potential issues with some of the bosses of P. Diddy. For example, there's a rumor that he is getting too big for his britches relating to his deal with Ciroc, the vodka brand.
Is it doing that well?
No, that other brands were maybe doing better, or maybe other celebrities were getting better cuts from their deals with for other spirits brands. And then they already had the dirt on him and they said, okay, bye.
They cut him loose.
Yeah, two things can be true at once. P. Diddy can be a shitty guy, and then his bosses can also be shitty. So I'm here for the tea.
Right.
I don't want to gloss over any of the victims, so I hope it's not feeling that way. But this next bit is the real reason for this episode, because 50 Cent's vendetta knows no bounds.
So this is like the kernel that started it all, the kernel of truth.
Yes, this is the part of Josh Johnson's comedy bit that got me. I don't know if 50% or 50 Cent is 50%. If 50 Cent is 100% good. Vigilante Vendetta was more of a word play than anything else, as he's like on the better side of this than P. Diddy is. 50 Cent has been vocal against Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, for well over 10 years, but like solidly for about 10 years.
He's been a well-known documented hater.
In fact, he's been gathering information on P. Diddy for about 10 years.
But it's giving Lady Gaga going to the Capitol after January 6th. Just wants to see it and see what she can collect.
Yes. Around the time Diddy was arrested, 50 Cent announces he's had a documentary about Diddy's alleged abuse in the works, and Netflix greenlit it this year.
Oh, shit.
This is a quote from 50 Cent or his people. Quote, "This is a story with significant human impact. It is a complex narrative spanning decades. It is not just a headline or clips seen so far. Quote, we remain steadfast in our commitment to give a voice to the voiceless and to present authentic and nuanced perspectives. While the allegations are disturbing, we urge all to remember that Sean Combs' story is not the full story of hip-hop and its culture. We aim to ensure that individual actions do not overshadow the culture's broader contributions." In the words of that comedian, Josh Johnson, quote, he did interviews. He hates this man so much. I've heard of gossip, but I've never heard of like, no, okay, we're going to have the whole crew there by 3, all right?
Sit down, we can talk.
We'll have a place for you to sit. We'll have some snacks and everything. We'll just chop it up. We'll just chat. Just tell me everything he did. That bastard, right? Wait, hold on. Imagine hating someone so much that you're willing to edit.
I was going to say, first, incredible analogy. As a teacher, my version of that is, imagine you hate someone or someone upsets you so much, you willingly give up your plan period to talk about it to others.
Yes.
When you have to go, hold on, wait 1 second, walk to the door, close it, which is just like a quick little pull, and then it'll auto like close because you got a pass magnet, and you're like, okay, so let me tell you everything that I needed to tell you, and then I will have told you
what I'm about to tell you.
Exactly.
Here's the next bit, though. The name of the docuseries that he's producing.
50 Cent's putting together?
There's no release date yet. It's coming soon.
I love wordplay. I'm actually so excited for this.
Diddy Do It?
Which is, of course, the name of this episode, right?
I don't know if we could take it like that.
Oh, because like trademark issues and stuff? Or we jump ahead of it? No, trademark issues. You guys are cool with it, right?
It's so fucking fun. Did he do it? And I love it too because it's produced by 50 Cent, so that's not actually a question. It's not it will be a resolved answer. I saw an interview with him that was posted on Facebook from like ET, like Entertainment Tonight, and like you're like producing something called Did He Do It? And like the guy keeps trying to ask him questions, and 50 Cent just keeps going, yeah, he did it.
He did it.
Everything
you think he did,
Yeah.
100%.
That's literally.
I have a notes app on my phone of did he done it. Did it.
Yes. Literally, this man hates him so much.
Beautiful sister-in-law kept a running notes app on her phone of like wedding ideas that she liked and didn't like from other weddings. I do too. But like when I saw it about a month before her wedding, my only real thought was like, I can't believe you put your life in the hands of an iPhone notes app. Like I get a Google document.
If you don't do that.
No, sure. But like just silly poems when I'm feeling sad or euphoric. Anything of important substance goes into a Google Doc that is constantly saving itself, you know? I don't think you can recover Apple iPhone notes apps.
You can if you have an iCloud account.
Well, who knows if I do or not, you know?
Okay, so the name of the docuseries, Did He Do It? Coming to a living room near you, probably within the year. Also coming to you after that docuseries releases, maybe an episode on P. Diddy.
I want to be like, oh my God, it's our next Tiger King. But like, no, it's going to be like a really sad documentary.
A docuseries too, yeah. So modern issues in relation to 50 Cent. Obviously, he's not a perfect person. He probably has his own issues, but he does do a lot of good work in the community. Curtis Jackson is a founder of something called the G Unity Foundation. Here's a quote from their website. The G Unity Foundation empowers youth to develop the confidence, tools, and knowledge they need to excel at life. Founded by Curtis, aka 50 Cent Jackson, G Unity supports and administers programs that foster conscious capitalism as well as social and leadership skills for youth nationwide. In an interview with Forbes, he says that writing checks is easy, but facilitating change is hard. Quote, I've donated to organizations since 2004, but I didn't offer my time. Now I'm able to coordinate. He allows his organization to leverage his own personal and social influence to help jumpstart change. He says, quote, the bigger problem, according to 50 Cent, is that, quote, people aren't conditioned to give away what they work for. But if they started those businesses with that mindset, like if we created Google, how different would our world or would our life be if we allocated 10% of its proceeds to extreme poverty? One of the many events they host / collaborate on is called the Forever Young Day. Quote from the website, quote, Curtis hosts an all-day event intended to spur children from his hometown, which is called Jamaica. It's in Queens, New York City, to become more involved with the community, keep off the streets, and get more exercise. He also does toy drives, community gardens with Bette Midler. Oh, for some reason.
Sorry, new Martha Stewart Snoop Dogg just dropped.
Yeah. He also does humanitarian trips to Somalia. He does giveaways. He does events.
Somalia.
Okay. Sorry, Somalia. He does events to support inner city young entrepreneurs and events teaming up with the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, aka NFTE. He also does a business lab, which is called the G Lab, which is in Houston Independent School District. And it's the thing that they have on the website is, quote, helping students in underserved communities learn the business skills they need to start their own companies and achieve generational wealth.
Wow.
And that's that.
That's the legacy of 50 Cent.
Despite being like kind of homophobic for a little bit there, and then also like deeply hating Ja Rule.
Sure. But it also means like sometime in the last 10 years, 50 Cent the dollar, was born. And we just don't know it.
We don't know. Well, I'll tell a story on it maybe in like...
In a couple years?
Yeah, in a few years. Yeah.
Stay with us. Completely unlike anything you have done recently, and yet somehow still also in the world of the things that you have taught me recently.
I just love the tea.
Is your next one going to be a conspiracy theory?
I don't know. I feel like I need to stop.
What's your next one?
I haven't
That was a trap.
Yet.
Good.
Okay, good. Yeah. I need to know what your next theme is. I've decided I need to do something. I've decided I needed to do something happier.
I drank so much wine tonight. And the fact
that I'm the one that spilled.
Literally everything savable. I mean, other than my favorite Chardonnay, but that's fine. I just spent this one summer in Sonoma, and I just had like a lot of good. Anyways, no, I don't know yet what my next theme is. I have 2 stories in the fire. I kind of need to like poke out a little bit to figure out. I'm more focused on Wednesday's episode, like the one that we're recording in 2 days. They all come out on Wednesdays.
Deeply excited to move these 2 stories into the archive on my little folder of Maya notes so that I don't have to like look at them for a while.
I think knowing you, knowing me, knowing us, knowing them.
That was good.
We're going to have a good time on Wednesday.
Oh, I'm excited.
Oh, it smells like a beautiful
this?
White cheese in here now.
Does, yeah. Do you want to do the end while
Musk,
I go get...
melon goodness of his
get paper towels.
sparkling Rioja.
Oh, good.
Crab apple. It's a Moira Rose thing.
Yeah, I'm
okay,
fully
so
aware,
we need to name this something, and you want me to do the speech.
Yes. You always do the speech. You do it better than I do.
Don't compliment me like that.
It.
No, I'm happy to do it. I was touched. No, don't take this from me. I'm also like engaged in trying to think of the topic, the name, but I'll have that ready when you come back.
Okay.
And maybe with like a baby bell too.
I don't know how many I have, but I'll come back.
No, that's okay. I respect.
I do have some cheese though it's a Costco cheese that I'm cutting up recently because
you don't have to get me any cheese, but if you are getting
get
cheese,
okay, because I'm getting myself some
well,
cheese.
now that that's settled, hi friends. Thanks for sticking with us
for Vigilante Vendetta.
Yes, which has been a really fun episode so far. A great start. Can't wait for the next 2.
Yeah.
Don't forget to send in stories if you have things you want to share, and you can send that to wellilaughdpod@gmail.com. You can also find us anywhere you find social media, where we are Well I Laughed Podcast. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram. We will respond, especially on Instagram, relatively quickly. So happy to tell you. Also, send in any special requests. We got a chance to wish a couple people a happy anniversary.
Yeah.
So you can do that through our email, or you can do it via Cameo. And if you would like additional content where we absolutely drop anything that we use to filter ourselves and give real unfiltered opinions about things,
where we're going next,
you can find that content on Patreon, where we are Well I Laughed Podcast. Thank you for helping support the podcast. It really is. I mean, it's a job that we love, but it is a job. And so it's super helpful. Until then, I'm going to get some cheese.
Okay, bye. I love you.
Yeah, okay, great. Bye. Okay, that's all Maya has to say.